Oke, halo semuanya. Welcome to the stream ya. Thank you for coming. Selamat siang. Ya, hari ini gue Guerilla stream ya, random. Sebenarnya ini sih apa namanya? Karena gue perlu mengerjakan sesuatu, tapi supaya lebih apa ya? Lebih terdorong mungkin ya. Lebih terdorong untuk menyelesaikan. Jadi gue bikin stream gitu. Ya, gitu deh. Kita welcome yang baru datang ya. Ada Ahmad Raffi ya, welcome. Thank you for coming. Apa yang gue kerjakan tidak bisa gue tampilkan di sini ya, karena ya for obvious reasons. Kita screennya begini aja sih, cuman gue bakal sambil dengerin YouTube juga, jadi biar kalian gak dengerin background stream doang ya. Jadi kita matiin dulu background streamnya, setelah kita sambil denger YouTube. Ini yang gue di YouTube yang gue dengerin mungkin akan random ya, jadi ya anggap aja kayak denger radio lah gitu ya.
Men, why are you so shy? Okay, so I've been thinking way too much again because, I got that anxiety thing and my brain won't shut up. So why are you shy? For real, why y'all act like a smile is illegal or feelings have taxes or compliments might explode? I swear, some guys are so cute, but also so scared. And I'm like, bro, I'm just talking. I'm not a boss battle. And I'm not teasing, neither am I clowning. I'm just curious. Because every time I talk to a guy, he does this thing. He looks away, then looks back, then looks away again. Like, am I the sun? And he's like the stars or something? I'm just sitting here like, hello, sir? Why are you so shy? Maybe it's cute. Maybe it's sad. Maybe it's both. I don't even know. Sometimes I feel like men learned really young to hide stuff and be quiet and swallow everything until they forget how to talk, how to open up, how to say, hey, I'm kind of nervous right now. Like, imagine if a guy said that, I'd literally melt like chocolate on a dashboard. But no. They just sit there all tense and stuff, and they're buffering, trying to pick the right words to say. Like, bro, I'm cringe too, so let's be cringe together. And to me, what's wild is sometimes I think men are shy because nobody told them that it's okay to be soft, warm, and smile without hiding it. And they could and should laugh about it without saying my bad. Like, who hurt y'all? Actually, never mind. I know life did, people did, school did, family did, the whole world did. Everyone tells men be strong, but they never say, you can rest too. So guys grow up thinking softness is danger, thinking kindness makes them weak, thinking emotions are traps. And then boom, they get shy around anyone who actually sees them. Like, imagine spending your whole life being told, stop being emotional. Then someone comes along and goes, hey, you're kind of sweet, and your whole system just shuts down. It's boy confidence is not found anywhere. And I swear, I see this every day, especially online. Like, men will comment, hi, and then just disappear for like 3 business days because they panicked. I'm like, dude, I just said your hoodie looked comfy and that's it. It's not a marriage proposal. And some guys, oh my God, they do that little smile, that tiny one, the one that just, they try to hide their hand with their hoodie and their sleeve. And I'm like, please stop. That's adorable. You're killing me. And I wonder, is it fear or from overthinking too much? Or is it the childhood trauma, or am not used to being attractive enough or not getting attention? Or is it just men being men. Like, men will build a whole car engine from scratch, but they cannot make eye contact with a girl for 2 seconds. Men will talk for like 30 minutes about a video game, but the moment you ask them, how are you? Their souls leave their body. It's super funny. And I don't understand why. Because like men will walk into a fire but won't say, I like you until it's been like 3 years under a full moon. It's cute, but it's also tragic and kind of funny and kind of everything. And I get it. I really do. Because, you know, shyness is, after all, like protection. It's like your armor because you don't want to show yourself. And it's like emotional bubble wrap, basically. Sometimes I just wish men knew that it's okay to relax and to breathe and to just be yourself with no guard up. Like, dude, you can talk, you can laugh, and you can say, yeah, I'm nervous. You won't die. I promise. I feel like a lot of men don't even know how lovable they are because, you know, they never really hear it. They never got told, hey, you make people feel safe, or, you know, your energy is very warm, or basically just, I like your vibe. So when they hear it, they freeze. They're like, are you talking to me? This must be a prank. I'm usually just sitting there like, no, bro, they're genuinely just nice because you're just shy and cute. And I noticed, that's all. But sometimes men think they gotta be tough to be liked. And honestly, that soft stuff is what it's what's real and what makes you a person, not a statue. And I think about this too, that maybe it's my brain that does that it grabs onto something and spirals like a little blender. And today's blender thought is, men, why are you so shy? Maybe it's the fear of rejection, or maybe it's the fear of being called weird, or maybe people are like, it's the fear of not being enough, or maybe it's all of that together mixed up into one big shy soup. And I want to say it's okay. You don't gotta be perfect, nor do you have to be smooth or know everything, you know? Like, let's be real. Because honestly, at the end of the day, shy guys are kind of sweet. They got this quiet presence on them, that gentle, like, I don't want to bother anyone energy. And it's super endearing. Like, you ain't bothering anyone. You are just existing as it is. And, you know, that's enough. And sometimes shy guys are the ones who feel the most, but, you know, they show the least, and that kind of hurts. Because I can see it in their eyes, in their hands, and in the way that they breathe, because they feel so much, but they lock it up because, you know, the stupid world told them to. And I wish someone else told them that you can be yourself. You don't have to be someone else. You don't have to be, you know, you can be shy, you can be open, you can be vulnerable, you can be all of those things. Because imagine if men heard that growing up. They would be freaking unstoppable. And they'd be so confident, but not cocky, just, you know, calm and sure and peaceful of themselves. Unfortunately, we're here in this timeline where men flinch when you compliment them, and they hide their smiles like contraband. And I'm like, can we just let men smile? Can we let them blush for once? Can we let them be shy without calling them weak? Because that's a pretty natural human thing to be doing. Shy isn't being weak, you know? Like, shy is just human. It's tender. It's just like a soft piece of armor. It's saying, I care too much, so I sit quietly still, okay? And, you know, that's not weakness, that's just heart. But sometimes I do wish men talked more and showed more and opened up more, because there's so much inside them that it deserves space to breathe and to be real. I promise I'm not scary, because, you know, I'm just a girl that talks about stuff and cozy stuff and trying to understand it all. So if you're listening and you're a shy guy, well, hi, I see you. Even if you look away or you fidget or your voice shakes, I see you, okay? You are fine. You're not rushing. You don't gotta rush being yourself. You don't gotta be smooth. You don't gotta act like someone you're not, okay? So just breathe and talk. Be you. Even if your words come out slowly or messy or quiet, you know, that's fine. That's enough. And maybe one day you won't be as shy. Not because you like fixed it, but because like you finally felt safe. Safe to be able to talk and smile and exist and be soft and seen. Like all of those things, you just felt safe. And I hope you get that. I hope that you feel that, because men deserve to feel safe too, not just being a strong, buff, useful, but you know, you're loved in a soft way. Like you don't have to be someone you're not. So yeah, men, why are you so shy? You know, no one made space for them to be anything else, you know? And instead, I'll make that space. I'll listen. I'll be patient, because shy guys aren't unreadable. They're just unspoken, and that's different. And honestly, I think the world would be sweeter if men just let themselves be a little shy, but also a little open, just enough to like let someone in, just enough to like breathe and talk and be yourself again. You know, just not to feel alone or anything. And, you know, it's okay if you're shy too. It's not strange. It's not like you're broken or anything. You're not too quiet. You're just, you know, you're just waiting for the right moment, the right person to feel safe with. And that's fine too. When that does happen though, you will show pieces of yourself that you thought were gone. Like you'll glow, you'll soften, and it's actually super beautiful. So yeah, anyways, I'll end my little ADHD rant. Because my brain could go on forever about this topic, but men, why are you so shy? Maybe the better question is, why aren't they allowed to be anything else? Maybe it's time we let them. Maybe it's time. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you like this type of video and want to see more, check out my channel. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a nice day.
Today, I wanted to talk about something important and very serious. Before I start, I want to say that this video won't be very comforting or cozy. I have been nervous to post it, and I feel like it's very raw. It's the hard truth about
Oh, halo. Halo Foxy. Sorry, baru lihat chat ya. Is this webinar? Enggak sih. Gue cuma lagi ngerjain sesuatu karena itu perlu diselesaikan ya. Tapi kalau misalnya apa namanya, ya intinya gue mencoba untuk dibikin jadi stream, coworking stream, supaya beneran dikerjain ya. Kayak lu pernah gak sih ngalamin kayak gitu? Lu procrastinate, tapi ketika di stream lu jadi lebih termotivasi gitu. Jadi ada rasa harus beneran diselesaikan gitu. Ya intinya gitu sih. Nih gue sambil dengerin apa, sambil kita lanjut tadi sambil
about my life, and it's also about my views too, but it covers a lot of curiosity that you guys have. It's something that I have been seeing as I read your stories every day and prepare myself to continue the conversations through the next day, and even questions that I've gotten asked a few times through my streams. Not that it's far and wide or always with an upset tone rather than curiosity, but I still want you to know that I do read and pay attention to those comments. The questions are, why do I care about men? And why do I want to hear your stories? Am I being genuine with my words? Or am I just doing something to capitalize, or that is trending amongst women online? I feel like most people would ignore such strong stated questions, delete them, or get really defensive over it, but I find that these questions just give me opportunity to explain a bit more about myself and why I'm doing this, why I'm creating. I just want to say sorry if this video is long. I have been doing these soft talks pretty short because I'm a bit insecure in how much I can really yap if I'm given the floor to, but I've been told by you guys that you don't care and would prefer that, and so for that I really appreciate it so much. This will be a bit personal, but I feel like I can trust opening up to the space we have all built together, so I don't mind at all, and I love that I get to share this with you guys today. I want to start with the first and main question. Why do I care about men? I want to start with what me and chat called Tilly lore yesterday on stream. This part will be long. I'm not sure how long. I'm not even sure if it's smart to be putting this out on the internet at the chances that the entire world may fucking see. But what I do care about is being as open with my battlings as possible. So I will personally take off my armor today. I've been seeing a few of you battlings say that the only reason I care about men is because I grew up having a decently good relationship with my dad and grew up in a pretty decent or average household, that I was never told these ideals that men shouldn't cry or anything from him. As much as I wish it were true, it's sadly not. I never had a father figure in my life. Him and my mother separated before I was born, after they got into a very heated argument in which he kicked her in the stomach while she was carrying me, like pregnant with me. By the time I was 2, he was nowhere around at all. My mom didn't stop him from the chances of seeing me. She didn't put him on a form of child support. He just simply didn't care to be around. Part of me feels like it's because he carries the regret of possibly hurting me before I was born. Part of me feels like he simply just doesn't want to look back on the relationship and rather wanted to focus on his other children he already had. Whatever the reason may be, I've just kind of grown to accept it. I won't go into details with my growing up because it's just something that I dealt with up until high school, and I unfortunately don't want to remember every small detail possible, so I will summarize it up. Let's just say that growing up as a kid, me and my siblings had very unfortunate circumstances. We were not financially stable, like housing issues, food issues, lots of moving around all the time. My mother, though our relationship has healed after the passing of my oldest sister, had a lot on her plate, raising 4 children all on her own. She would somehow end up dating the most abusive men who would hit on her and hit on me if I defended her. This went on from when I was 6 up until I was 12. At 12 is when the worst thing happened to me from one that she was dating. I won't really go into details about it because I don't want anyone to judge my family more than I have judged myself and them my entire life, but let's just say it was the most traumatic thing a girl could go through, and top it off with your family and your mother not believing you about it. From there, I became closed off, introverted, and very to myself. I developed anxiety and depression. We did not have the health care and the financial stability for me to see a therapist. I've never had a therapist, Lord. I feel like the world would be a better place and shinier if I had a therapist. Probably wouldn't fix all my problems, but that would be cool. I don't even have a primary care doctor as of now, and I'm 25 years old. But anyways, I pretty much became what society would deem a girl failure. I started off young playing video games with my brothers, but by this point in time, they were adults in completely different states from me, and I was with my mom and him and young. I had no one to defend me. my sister, who I consider my second mom, even though she's not here, she passed away 5 years ago, her husband was also abusive, so he clearly was not there to defend me. In fact, he shot at me when I was 18 for defending my sister from him. Luckily, I did not get hurt. I don't know what matrix move I pulled off to dodge that bullet, but I did. Anyways, I got heavily into video games and anime, and became even more of an outcast at school, being bullied by the girls and the guys of my grade, like everyone. I ended up getting to the point where I would skip school just so I could play games and escape reality itself. It was my safe space, my comfort zone, where I wasn't judged or anything by NPCs. During high school, I got into a relationship with a guy, and for 4 years it was okay until I was cheated on and left. There was just so many arguments, and I feel like I dodged a bullet in the end. After that, for another 4 years after high school, he had stalked me online. Is he still stalking me? I don't know. He doesn't contact me anymore, so that's all I really care about. He even had a kid by then, but simply didn't care. He was convinced I had ruined his life and would threaten to kill me along with his baby mother. Like they would threaten me together. He would continuously find my aliases, tune into my streams, my videos, lie and say that the reason that I can't have children is because he gave me an STD, etc. It's not true. That is due to me having developed PCOS. So, they eventually stopped after finding my Twitter and getting literally shit on by all the people that followed me and supported my content at that time, which was not ASMR. I was doing like Fortnite and all types of gaming content. But they haven't been around since, thankfully. Even through all of these events in my life, all of the abusive relationships I've went through, even after him, the closest people in my life have been men. My 3 best friends that I've known for forever, online, and I got the chance to actually meet them in person, except one. One of them I grew up with literally since middle school. We've been best friends since middle school. But they're all guys. And I do have 2 women that I'm close to. One is the girlfriend of one of them, and the other I pretty much consider like another older sister. And through those moments where I've wanted to commit fly and just disappear, they have been my rocks. I have witnessed them cry, break down, give up, fall, fail, lose, and nothing in this world can make me love them less. Nothing in this fucking world can make me turn away from them, convince me they aren't manly, aren't fucking strong, aren't the most human people I have ever been blessed with the ability to know. I love them so much, and no one, no comment, no society, no reality, no dimension can ever take that away, or my views that men deserve to have a safe space, that men deserve to be vulnerable, that men are not always failing, and that men shouldn't have to suck it the fuck up. I care about men because they are human. I care about men because that's what a decent human being would do. I care about men because I'm tired of society pushing these crazy fucking double standards on everyone in the world. I'm tired of being told I'm not feminine enough, that I'm not girly enough, that I should have been born a guy, or that I'm not classy enough. So I can only imagine the scale of which it is for a guy to be told this since birth. Like you were born, you came out the womb, and you have all of this on your back. Sorry. It's just these are the questions that have been getting me very emotional, and so I just really debated even doing this because I know how long this may end up being, and I know how emotional I get over it. So I apologize. Next question is, why do I want to hear other stories? The truth is that I don't fully know. I just really find other stories interesting. I find the way people think interesting. though I, I don't share the same experiences because of my gender, I realize that I connect and relate a lot more with guys than anything else. Like, it feels like I can see my experiences through their words. It's like you guys explain and express things better than I ever really could. When I did start making content like this, the question is, so why did I start making content like this? Before, I used to do ASMR, audio role plays, to comfort others. I ended up building a community of what I noticed was mainly guys, but I felt disconnected. Not because I'm a woman, but because I felt like I could never actually be comforting if I didn't do anything to help you guys other than whisper. Like, I felt like I wasn't doing anything to help you guys feel better outside of that. I wanted to return after my years-long break from streaming and creating, but I wanted to be closer with everyone. Not in a weird-ass parasocial way, but in a way where it felt like I was sitting right beside you guys talking to you. As if we were friends that are just gaming and talking about life the way I do with my best friends. I wanted to build a community that knows they aren't judged or forced to speak and act a certain way as to not freak me out or something. I wanted to be able to be more open in my videos, in Discord, yap, just fuck around, and have my gaming streams feel like just another gaming session with my friends. I know that that's a lot different than how my videos are, but it's just because my videos are me being able to have thought about everything that I want to say, versus my streams where it's just kind of on the spot and I'm just yapping away. I wanted to be like the ones where we crack open coolers and beers. I hate beer, but oh my goodness, I will down multiple Smirnoffs. And just get out the bong and just fucking vibe out. I wanted to form a space where you guys have the chance to get things out of your system, or just to know that someone is listening, reading, paying attention, and taking your stories to continue the conversation in the next videos. The only reason why it seems like I'm targeting only men is not just because you guys are what I relate to the most in life, but you guys are simply what has found me. Like, my audience, even before ASMR, has always been guys. So I just want to expand on that. Sorry. I want to take your feelings and suggestions to let you know that I see you, that you aren't invisible and alone in this shitty, unfair world. Another question is, am I trying to capitalize off of men's struggles? I know that it's a serious question, but it does make me laugh whenever I see the comments of being accused of doing this style of content because it's trendy or because I want you to donate all of your money. But the truth is that if I wanted to capitalize or do this purely for money, this would be the worst way to do it. Especially as a woman on the internet in 2025. In fact, my channel has fallen a lot from its original state because I stopped doing ASMR. Which is crazy. ASMR requires a lot less effort and it can be done by anyone. But I felt disconnected. I felt like I had a community, but it was not in the way I wanted. It's just not as fun for me as being able to talk to you guys every day and just hang and share our opinions and game and discuss stuff and come to our own agreements and disagreements. I have never been happier doing this than I have now. I literally, if you told me last year that I would be uploading almost daily, I would have laughed at you. Regardless of analytics, regardless of my channel doing worse statistically, I just don't care. I would rather lose all of the subs I gained from my past content than to stop doing these videos now. I would make an entirely new channel if I had to, if it ever got to that point. I do not care. The final questions and statements have been about me wanting to build a parasocial audience to dump all of their money onto me, and to that I say, I would prefer to not have an audience that sees me as a possibility to date or get with. As of now, as of December 2025, I have a boyfriend. I'm genuinely in the best relationship I have ever been in. Also, sorry, if you guys can hear, my neighbors are outside screaming. He found me when I was nothing, and I found him when he thought he would never have anyone to love. We have cried together, we have smiled together. We may not be living life in luxury, but we are happy. He may not be a CEO, I may not be a supermodel, but genuinely, who gives a fuck? I don't, he doesn't, that works just fine for us. No, I don't find him unattractive when he breaks down and wants to give up on life. No, I don't think he is less manly just because he doesn't have abs and muscles, isn't rich, is average height, and whatever else assumptions people keep making of me. I want to build a community that sees me as just me, not some girl that you'll be able to date in a few years. None of the idol culture shit where you put me on a grand pedestal and make shrines of me in your homes. I just want to be here. I can't promise that I will be considered a friend. I can't promise that everyone will trust my words or think I'm genuine. But I can promise that my space is for pure vibes, it's for comfort, and it's a place to forget and just be heard for once. I don't want your parasocial tendencies. I don't want your life savings. I don't want you to bow to me in my every word. I don't want you to see me as someone different than just a person. The only thing different about me is that yes, I am a VTuber. I am a VTuber out of convenience. I'm lazy. I'm too lazy to put on a webcam and make sure my lighting's good. That bright ass hot fucking light staring at my face all day long. Too lazy to have that going on. I'm too lazy to make sure my background looks cool. I just want to get on and talk and vibe. Just please continue to treat me as me. Please don't be even more softer with me as if I'm extremely fragile now that you've heard my story through my armor. I don't want to be, pitied. I don't want to be held like I'm a little baby, because as much as I have been through in life, it has made me who I am today, and it has made me someone who's able to be compassionate and empathize with others and be able to connect with people without this big fucking veil of how everyone else thinks shadowing over me. Thank you for listening to me today. If you even made it this far, this is 20 minutes of me yapping. This is the yapping that I have trying to I have tried to hold back from you guys, because it's just, that's so long. But, thank you for listening for me today, or to me, and feel free to ask any questions down below. I'm not cutting this up. Usually I cut because I have long pauses, because I have brain farts. It's raw. The only thing that's going to be edited is just the background. But, as always, I'm proud of you, even if you did absolutely nothing today. And when you're ready, I'll see you on the next soft talk. I'm sorry that this one is not so much a soft talk, but I will see you on the next one.
Five. Sudsball. Do you want me to mulligan to 5? Like, I don't know what you want from me. You died of Flage with that hand. Yeah, sure. Then I would sideboard in the silly cards. Like, I don't know. If I was up against, like, red-white, I knew it. I wouldn't have put the fucking Fling to Dust on the bottom.
This episode is sponsored by Card Kingdom. Head to cardkingdom.com/studies to pick up Wrath of God, Damnation, and any of the other apocalypse-inducing board wipes featured in this video. Many of these cards have variants available that match the look and feel of your favorite deck, ranging from Kev Walker's Destructive Duo to Titus Lunter's version for the Amonkhet Invocations. Whichever you choose, Card Kingdom provides high-quality products and responsive customer service, and will ship your entire order all in one package. This episode is sponsored by Coalesce Apparel and Design. With the release of March of the Machine, the MTG Jam collection has expanded to include 3 new team-ups. These new designs feature Galta and Mavrin, Kogla and Jadaro, and my personal favorites, Borborygmos and Fibblethip. Head to Coalesce to pick up one of these fun new t-shirts and snag a Ristic Studies playmat or sticker on the way out. Hats are in stock too. Use code STUDIES at checkout for 10% off your order. Central to the setting of Coheed and Cambria's 5th concept album, Year of the Black Rainbow, is a sprawling void that rips across the universe of Heaven's Fence. Citizens believe the phenomenon to be an omen from God, a protest against the eminent usurping powers. On the cover of the accompanying novel stands a statue of the story's antagonist, and behind him, stretching across the sky, is the paradoxical namesake of the record. The music video for the anthemic single Here We Are Juggernaut showcases the arrival of this vast emptiness over New York City. The album concludes with the title track, The Black Rainbow, a 7-minute studio piece that embraces the dark and moody atmosphere of the record. About 2 minutes in, the song erupts into a soaring, circular refrain as Claudio Sanchez repeats the lines, "It's over, it's over, it's all coming apart." For 4 minutes, the band sits and stews in this slow and sludgy march as the cavernous ambiance continues to widen. Then, as the layers of guitar and drums and noise pile on, a swirling howl arrives and oscillates atop the massive wall of sound. And suddenly, without warning, it cuts to silence. There will be a vast shout and then a vaster silence. This illustration by Drew Tucker aims directly at that vaster silence. Nothing is moving. You can almost hear the air. In the foreground lies an assembly of anonymous death and decay. Winds of Wrath is one of many magic cards that destroy all creatures. The name, perhaps intentionally, is a clever homonym of Wrath, an allusion to the very first card to ever do it, and the de facto shorthand for spells that enact similar effects. Wrath of God is as old as magic itself. Alpha mixed pagan iconography with the high fantasy aesthetics of Dungeons & Dragons, then peppered in references to historical events and citations from world literature and poetry. Alpha juxtaposed wizards and castles with angels and demons, and populated its world with animals that seemed torn from the pages of national park brochures. Translating this assortment of source material into game pieces resulted in top-down designs like Lightning Bolt, Raised Dead, and Wrath of God. These cards would help define the parameters of their respective colors for decades to come. Wrath of God, as the name suggests, is an overtly religious magic card. The myth of the Last Judgment has permeated the visual arts for centuries. Michelangelo's work in the Sistine Chapel is among the most cited, but the motif is central to the Catholic and Christian imagination, and it reappears throughout their countless places of worship. Tales of these world-ending catastrophes correspond to the branch of theology called eschatology. These works of art often feature imagery of mass suffering beneath an idealized form of a savior. Many of them are oriented vertically to reflect the spatial metaphors of heaven and hell. Even without knowing the details, the narrative is explicit to viewers. This is by design. Quentin Hoover's Wrath of God, made not for a cathedral but for a card game, depicts an amorphous mound of bodies piled up across a battlefield, as an abstract face of a higher power glares angrily down upon them. In the original alpha set of Magic, writes Rob Bachman, white was the color of egalitarian destruction. Wrath of God does not take sides. In Hoover's painting, both armies have been leveled as one in death. Appearing in alpha as well was another white-aligned sorcery of mass destruction in Armageddon. The etymology of this term is a Greek transliteration of the Hebrew, Harmageddo, a prophesied place in which armies would gather for battle during the end times. Such a place exists, and existed. Tel Megiddo, situated in northern Israel, has been over the centuries a city-state as well as a contested battleground, and now stands as a holy site of archaeological intrigue. I wonder if Jesper Meerforce knew all this when he painted Armageddon in 1993. In his depiction, skulls litter a charred wasteland preluding a desolate city. A lingering sun hangs in a black sky. Maybe this illustration was inspired by the myth. The imagery certainly fits. Then again, as professors Natasha and Anthony O'Hare argue in Picturing the Apocalypse, the term Armageddon has become an all-purpose cliché, used almost as a knee-jerk reaction to describe any environmental, nuclear, or financial disaster, real or imagined. Like Wrath of God, Armageddon promises total, unbiased destruction. It is significant to me that both of these iconic cards appeared for the first time in Alpha, that Richard Garfield and company implemented mass removal spells from the outset, and that they dressed the mechanic in historical myths of the apocalypse. This detail speaks to an aesthetic and narrative quality of what Magic sought to achieve at its outset. Casting Wrath of God gave players a taste of omnipotence in 1993, and the ability to ruinate a world has since become a mainstay of the play experience. Since Alpha, countless iterations and imitations of Wrath of God have surfaced across all card types. The two key words, destroy all, are viscerally connected to that sense of egalitarian destruction. In contrast, cards like Merciless Eviction tap into a separate sensation in-game. Exiling feels like creating a parallel plane, a hidden void, where creatures perpetually exist but remain out of grasp, elsewhere. Visions of vacant cities from the first month of the global pandemic represent this difference. We weren't unmade, we were just momentarily gone. Conversely, destroy all creatures. Antiquities released in March of 1994. As Magic's second standalone expansion, this set aimed to tell its own story. A tale of two warring brothers whose feud culminated in the detonation of a high-fantasy atomic bomb. Unleashing the power of the Golgothian Silex sent Dominaria into an ice age that lasted millennia. The blast shattered the continent and shifted its tectonic plates and suspended the plane in a perpetual winter. The explosion of the Silex was not a holy smite from a higher power. Rather, it was a crude display of technology that brought consequences informed by scientific research. If Alpha departed from theological events to represent total annihilation, Antiquities and subsequent expansions embraced more secular source material from the 20th century to characterize their depictions of the apocalypse.
あの力には触れてはならんのかもしれんな。神の力ですか。
30 years of developing Magic has produced similar weapons akin to the Silex. Every now and then, R&D concepts a new artifact that gives players the power to destroy the world. Oblivion Stone from Mirrodin lends choice to whom and what survive in the form of fate counters. Scour Glass makes its choice for you. Only artifacts and lands persist, which imbues this card's narrative with a nod to the concept of time. Plague Boiler ruminates for a few turns before unleashing its life-ending disease. This one has a bit of a comedic slant to it, aided in part by its illustration. Worldslayer turns Annihilation into a smoldering sword that destroys everything, including its wielder, when it strikes the opponent. And Navineral's disc, which debuted in Alpha alongside Wrath of God and Armageddon, requires players to wait at least one turn before eliminating most of the battlefield. I like the tension this brings to a game. Like priming Samus to full power, you become a time bomb already ticked, aware to everyone around you. With Larry Niven's disc, the eventuality of destruction is not a matter of if, but when. Sometimes the game's heroes and villains serve as the harbingers of upheaval. End Hostilities destroys all creatures. Jason Rainville's illustration showcases a Jeskai monk unleashing a burst of energy through the palm of their hand upon a cavalry of Mardu horsemen. Elish Norn in Rout plays with a similar motif. Vanquish the Horde depicts Odric looming over the massacre, conflicted with the burden of such violence. Akroma and Kirtar and Bantu have all inflicted impartial eradication onto their respective planes, as has Hidetsugu, who became destruction manifest as the vessel of the all-consuming. Chris Cold's haunting painting shows a floating shade intertwining with a sea of black clouds. Planeswalkers, the game's demigods, also carry world-reckoning potential. Many of them are templated with conditional wraths, like Elspeth Sun's Champion and Liliana Death's Majesty. These characters possess superpowers a cut above the rest, and often that potency is flaunted through game-ending displays of destruction. This power makes for especially theatrical moments in trailers for event sets. Before Planeswalkers, there was the progeny of the Maelstrom, the avatar of rebirth. Like the boy Akira, Child of Alara symbolically suggests that the genesis of a new world requires the raising of its ancestor. Extreme weather events also signal annihilation in Magic. Flash fires and funeral pyres remind us that the fantasy of this card game is informed by the reality of brutal climate catastrophes. Doomscar and Maelstrom Pulse, on the other hand, entertain the idea of overlapping two separate worlds and forcing them to collide, a natural disaster only possible in a multiverse of make-believe. The former card alludes to the arrival of Ragnarok. Norse mythology was equally fascinated with eschatological calamities. It is true, and we must remember, that every culture in the world has told their own myths of creation and destruction. Although the mechanisms vary, destroying all creatures most consistently reappears time and again as a white sorcery. The theme of calling upon the impersonal hand of an invisible higher power has taken shape on dozens of cards since 1993, and in effect, a unifying visual language has emerged. Here is Planar Cleansing by Michael Komark. In the painting appear a myriad of tiny silhouettes being torn asunder by an ethereal white light. These helpless bodies are drifting and forming a trail toward its epicenter. A distant castle lends an idea of scale. Day of Judgment by Vincent Prost departs from a similar art description, and its name pays homage to the biblical events that inspired it. Hour of Reckoning and Righteous Fury and Sunscour all use that same glowing white light to engulf the primary figures in the foreground. What may be the most iconic example of a composition using these conventions came in 2001, when Wrath of God was reprinted in 7th edition, featuring new art by Kev Walker. This painting is so evocative. A hypnotizing ball of light hovers in the background like a supernova, recalling Katsuhiro Otomo's masterwork Akira from the 1980s. Repeatedly throughout the manga, turning the page reveals an enormous panel of white light rendered in negative space. The emptiness radiates from the book, and over time it becomes a signature stylistic element of its storytelling. So many Magic cards attempt to use white light to similar effect, white light as a weapon, a tool of extermination and cleansing. Sometimes this purifying white light erupts from the figures themselves. Destroy all creatures happens from within, like a lethal exorcism, as towering beams shoot into the sky above. Other times, artists explore the moments after the world has faced cataclysm. These paintings are often much eerier. Mark Fishman's work for March of Souls serves as a spiritual successor to Quentin Hoover's concept, where battlefields become bodies. Life's Finale by Svetlin Velinov offers a macabre scene of desolation filled with decrepit husks. Ron Spencer's Wrath of God from the 2007 Player Awards takes us into the impact zone as the deadly white light recedes back into the sky. In the surrounding area are corpses petrified like those unearthed at Pompeii. Neo-Tokyo is full of similar craters, scars left over from the bombardment of transorbital lasers. Ron Spencer also painted Damnation for the same series, which depicts a toxic wasteland shrouded in noxious green gases. A rotting horse stretches over a jagged rock as bodies decay in its periphery. This card is reminiscent of The Triumph of Death by Peter Bruegel the Elder from circa 1562, in which a horde of skeletons terrorize a Dutch countryside. This gigantic painting, hanging in the Museo del Prado in Madrid, is a morally charged work in which every social institution is conquered by mortality. There is no visible hierarchy. Nothing supersedes the egalitarian destruction. Ian Miller's Damnation continues with this tradition of showing a hellish wasteland overrun by death. Hidden behind the card frame lies an ocean of tormented souls. Dantesque harpies with glowing red eyes torture the suffering from above. An unearthly purple fills its backdrop. This piece, like much of Miller's work, is saturated with intense line work that invigorates the details of its dismal imagery. Before the bomb, the apocalypse looked like this. It looked like the central painting from John Martin's triptych, A Sublime Volcano. It looked like the sketches from Albrecht Dürer of the four horsemen vehemently galloping to bring the end. It looked like the 90 scenes woven across 6 giant tapestries hanging in the Château d'Angers, of many-headed beasts and demons and dragons. After the bomb, the apocalypse stopped looking so human. Kev Walker painted Damnation in 2007 as a companion piece to Wrath of God, centered in black. The characteristic wash of white light is absent in this piece. In its place is a howling void, something like the Black Rainbow, or the Nothing, or whatever supermassive entity swallows stars in space. Since 2007, Wrath of God has been reprinted dozens of times with a handful of new illustrations, each one bearing the signature flash of violent white light. Spells of similar effect have ventured into new design space, each one imitating or iterating on the central tenet of destroying all creatures. Poetic flavor text often accompanies these cards. At times, these short lines read more poignant and profound than is deserved by a fantasy card game. At its essence, Magic is part of a cultural milieu that continues to reimagine the end of the world. As Natasha O'Hare remarks, part of the power and longevity of Revelation's images is that they symbolize fundamental aspects of our existence and experience, which transcend both the time and the religious mythological context in which they were originated. Although it's been decades since the game took direct inspiration from any real-world religious iconography, card names like Wrath of God and Armageddon and Apocalypse persist. That last term, from the Greek word meaning to reveal, is particularly resonant, always present in the minds of those who name cards. But Magic also offers hope and embraces the Ouroboros of destruction breeding creation. From the Ashes by Karl Kopinski is among my favorite paintings that symbolize such renewal. Like in Akira, there seems to be an incessant human desire to reconstruct and rebuild after catastrophe, no matter how dire the event.
Welcome. Nah, gue lagi mencoba ngerjain sesuatu ya. Actually, kalau lo mau join aja ya di gue join VC deh di apa namanya di VC streaming server gue. Atau scratch that di general talk aja deh gue. Ya gitu. Gue lagi ngerjain sesuatu sambil dengerin YouTube ya biar gak bosen. Hmm. Kalau lo masih di sini, lo yang ngapain, Rek? Niat bener ya. Habis gimana ya? Kalau misalnya lagi apa? Ya beberapa juga ada yang kayak gini sih. Jadi mereka ngerjain sesuatu terus dibikin stream biar apa? Mendorong mereka untuk menyelesaikan ya. Lagi nonton, oh sambil urusan di tanah sih.
Events that prelude it. As fascinated as we are about the end of the world, there's always a lingering curiosity about what comes after. Epilogues become prologues, plants spring from hollowed out ruins, baby grizzlies discover new playgrounds. A vast silence becomes a precursor of peace. The final sponsor of this episode is the Johannes Voss Playmats collection on Kickstarter. Johannes Voss is a brilliant and seasoned painter whose illustrations command vibrant colors and inspiring imagery. This project showcases his signature style, with paintings like Gift of Orzova and The Prismatic Bridge available on extended artwork playmats and fitted with normal or stitched edge treatments. This project also debuts 5 new pieces, including the radiant plains from Dominaria United. The flowers here are just so lovely. Follow my affiliate link below to support the Kickstarter. The project has already surpassed 300% of its funding goal and will still be accepting late backers.
Grinding. Grinding. Kaimu lebih dari apapun, karena kau adalah kekasih gelapku. Kenapa harus jadi kekasih gelap ya? Kenapa nggak diresmiin aja ya? Why ya? Apakah itu sebenarnya lagu tentang selingkuh nggak sih? Kayak kalau aku pikir-pikir lagi tuh berarti lagu tentang selingkuh nggak sih? Ya nggak sih? why gitu loh, why harus kenapa harus gelap, kenapa nggak terang. Halo Kata, welcome. Tapi yang ngomongin tua, gue sekarang yang 26 udah berasa makin lemah. Gue merasa paling kuat secara umur 21. Ya, kalau Lele sih kebetulan masih umur 1 tahun, jadi iya sama aja sih. I'm always one. Lagi kalan. Betul, kenapa ini jadi? Kenapa tiba-tiba jadi? Kenapa tiba-tiba jadi? Ini ya, tiba-tiba jadi apa namanya itu? Adu ini ya, adu jompo gitu kan. Kalau Lele ya, entah kenapa makin hari itu makin gak bisa diem aja sih. Kayak aku tuh kayak gabut itu gak bisa gitu. Paham gak sih? Kayak misal nih, contoh aja tadi malam gitu kan, Lele gabut gitu kan, tiba-tiba ya kayak keliling rumah terus ngelihat ada kayak panci presto yang gagangnya belum dipasang gitu kan, ya kan, Lele langsung pasang, ngambil obeng langsung pasang gitu. Kayak gabut lagi, keliling-keliling lagi, terus habis itu kayak nemu apa gitu yang belum dirakit gitu, kayak nemu puzzle 1000 pieces langsung kurakit gitu, tapi nggak kelar, akhirnya aku buang. Bukan aku buang, gimana, aku balikin lagi ke tempatnya. Olahraga Le, olahraga itu olahraga otak, olahraga otak. Aku olahraga tahu nggak sih? Every night in 3 AM I am work out. I'm work out. I'm jumping with the music. Imagine I'm the villain and killing everyone. Naluri mama sudah mulai numbuh dalam diri gue. Tandanya apa? Iya benar, sudah jompo. Enggak ya, aku masih 1 tahun ya. Ya Le, itulah selingkuh. Karena manusia bisa jatuh cinta kali-kali, tapi kali ya kita lagi setelah terikat jangan di jatuh cinta itu cuma sekali. Kalau berkali-kali itu apa? Bukan jatuh cinta, itu cuma deg-degan. Iya juga sih, tapi aku jatuh cinta berkali-kali sih sama Mbak Shopkeeper, sama Bajo, sama Mas Gojo, sama juga ya, wah menarik juga. Tapi ngikat itu enggak, Kak, Lele nikah udah sampai 10.000 kali loh Kak. Ikat tuh gak harus sekali Kak. Oke, kalau begitu guys, Otsukare sama Desta, makasih buat hari ini. See you tomorrow. Antara tomorrow atau tonight, ditunggu aja. Kalau berkali-kali mah namanya karbit tuh. Berapa giga ya update HSR-nya? Moga aja nggak sampai 5 giga. Coba aku cek. Udah 5 giga. Ternyata 5 giga Kak. 5 giga lebih 5,42 giga. Ini udah kelar setengah. Kalau gabut ya antara workout, masak, atau gambar. Nah yang kedua itu, yang kedua sama yang pertama aku nggak masuk. Kalau gambar, nah ini aku ya relate kalau nggak lagi males. Karena jatuh cinta sekali doang, berarti pas putus sama pacar yang dulu udah nggak bisa move on lagi dong. Enggak, aku nggak pernah putus kok. Semua husband dan waifuku aku jadiin satu. Saya yakin gue tenek bakalan stream itu di HP, enggak di PC. Oke, kalau begitu Otsukare sama Desta, see you tomorrow Mina.
Hey Batlings! Today I kind of wanted to talk about like the issues with the dating scene as of recently and just modern dating in general. I asked you guys for topics that you wanted to hear me cover in Discord, and you guys gave me the topic of modern dating or why guys are giving up on relationships. For me, it feels like we're moving to a point of no return these days. Dating is starting to feel exhausting for many people lately, especially guys. And it's not because you guys don't want love or that you don't want a significant other that you can cherish, but it's because trying has started to hurt more and cause more pain than just being alone, being single. It's become less about two people connecting and more about what you can offer immediately. People nowadays don't want to build together anymore or support each other while they grow in their career paths or financially. They want it right now and then. No one wants to meet each other halfway anymore. I don't think most guys really walk away from dating because they hate women or because they hate the thought of love. I think that they've started to walk away because trying is tiring. The huge expectations of what a man is supposed to do is tiring. And trying just doesn't even feel worth it anymore. When constant effort to find love and be loved is being met with ghosting, mixed signals, comparisons to other men, or just blatantly being led on, you just get fucking tired of it. All of these expectations that family and friends place on you to get a girlfriend or boyfriend, or get married, or telling you that you're gonna die alone if you don't hurry up and have one, or just plain simply looking down on you just because you haven't found your match yet. None of this helps either. It's to the point where it doesn't even feel like a good idea to approach anyone publicly anymore. It used to be that the worst thing one could say is no or I'm taken. But nowadays, it has evolved because of the toxic shit being thrown around on social media. Being called a creep because you approached a woman you thought was pretty who piqued your interest, or being accused of following her because you were on the opposite side of the grocery store and made your way over to her as she was moving to the next aisle. It's become unsafe to engage with anyone naturally anymore, without the possibility of being deemed something you aren't on social media hours later for clicks and views. We're at this weird standstill where women want to be approached and men want to approach, but both are afraid of the absolute worst happening, and so no one does anything. You just have to admire from afar, but even then, you can barely admire too much because then it's, oh, there was a creep staring me down today. It's stressful because it's like all of the advice you were given on how to get a significant other growing up is just thrown out the window with modern dating. You were told to communicate, to plan things, be more confident, and of course be stable. Be polite and dress accordingly because appearance matters and helps. Act nonchalant, but not too nonchalant because then it seems like you don't care enough. And so you did those things and the outcome still didn't change. It's like as technology advanced, it's become easier to connect online and just adopt other people's mindsets and opinions. It's like efforts stop guaranteeing connection physically. And Lord, dating apps have become so popular, and they just continue to grow and grow each day. Like nowadays, most relationships are formed from online apps and social medias like Discord, Twitter, Facebook, and even Instagram. They've all become grounds for dating. Dating apps and socials have made it easier to meet new people, yes, but I feel like they've also made it easier to just discard others and make them feel disposable. One mistake and you're blocked. Don't like how someone feels? You're blocked. Don't like how someone dresses? You're blocked. Like, oh my goodness. It's like being matched to someone doesn't even mean you're highly likely to go on a date or that they're your match. It just simply means they like the way you look or what your bio said. It's just a long process of auditioning for everyone, hoping something sticks to the wall. To me, dating stopped feeling like this naturally occurring thing that came from curiosity and interest in another. It turned into evaluations, like a job interview, instead of getting to know someone for themselves. It became a thing to where you go up to people, or you even go on these dates and you just start wondering what you're about to do wrong and how bad you're about to fumble, instead of wondering about all the things you're going to learn about this person. It's this draining pressure of performing your best. It's like you can't even be yourself because being yourself is just not enough. And I just don't blame anyone for not wanting to keep it up every time. Dating has started feeling like work. And if you're what society deems not the most attractive, or you just have an average job or your average height, it just feels like finding love becomes a full-time job in itself. At some point, it just feels pointless. It's hard to feel confident enough to reach out to anyone when you're constantly being put up against people you've never met and being expected to perform better than them. You have to be strong enough, or tall enough, or look good enough, or talk enough, because if you don't talk enough, they think you're not interested. But then if you talk too much, you're overly interested and it's just an ick or annoyance, or like, and then you have to live this luxurious lifestyle full of money where you have to be able to take and pay single-handedly for everything. You have to take the best pictures and experiences for your social media pages and your dating profiles, and you have to make your life seem super interesting, or you'll be deemed not worth it because, oh, no one wants to date someone who's boring, or no one wants to date someone who doesn't go out or travel or have this and have that. There's just so much. Why can't we just love a person for their personality and experience these things together? Why does their current lifestyle and how much they travel and how much designer they fucking buy and what cool cars they own and how many bedrooms they have, why does this all matter in the beginning of a relationship? You guys won't even be living together. I don't blame anyone for walking away from the shitfest that this dating scene has formed into. I feel like it's truly gotten a lot worse. I don't know if the dating apps is what caused it to get worse, or if it's just the amount of people who are just glued to their phones day and night. It's like you can't even have a normal conversation when you go out with your friends anymore, or family events, because everyone in the room is just on their fucking phones. There's no normal conversations. Like, you're just there and you're in each other's presence and everyone's just on their phones. I don't blame anyone for choosing peace over love currently. Like, when effort is constantly met with rejection and punishment, of course people are going to stop offering it. When all the good guys are being crossed and tossed to the side because they are simply just average looking men, of course it's going to be hard to find a good guy. I hate going on TikTok and seeing people talk about, oh, where did all the good men go? Where did all the good women go? And it's like, there's so many of us. We're just your average looking Joe. Like, we are not these Instagram baddie models. We are not these fucking 6'5" CEOs making 6 figures a year. We're literally just average people. There are good guys and good women out there. It's just, it's whatever. But to me, it's not that walking away from the dating scene means you're completely giving up on love. It just means you're protecting your mental health until you want to even deal with finding love again. And I personally think that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking a break and just focusing on yourself and just letting things come to you. Because it's to the point where it feels like going after something or approaching something or trying to connect with someone, it's just a lot harder than it used to be, and a lot harder than it should be, because everyone has these hidden expectations or agendas, or like how they feel about people doing stuff a certain way. But anyways, I'm proud of you. Even if you did absolutely nothing today, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments about how you feel about the current dating scene. And when you're ready, I'll see you on the next Soft Talk. Also, don't forget to join the Discord. We're almost at 200 members, and I think that's really cool.
Do you ever sit there staring at your screen, staring at your room, scrolling and thinking, I should do something, but then your body just doesn't move? Yeah, so let's talk about that stuck feeling you get. If you click this, you probably feel stuck. Stuck in life, stuck in school, stuck in your room, stuck in your own head. Like, you know you want more, you know you want change, but every day kind of looks the same. You scroll, you think, you stress, you do nothing, and it's all on repeat. And you're like, why am I like this? Am I lazy? Am I broken? No, I want to help you uncover why you feel stuck and how to fix it in small steps, not scary big steps. Because I promise you are not broken. You're just stuck, and stuck can change. So, what does stuck really feel like? Stuck feels like this. You wake up tired, even if you slept. You check your phone before you even think. You already feel behind for no real reason. You look at your room and it's messy. You look at your to-do list and it's super long. So your brain goes like, nope, and shuts down. You start to think, I should clean, I should study, I should work out, I should fix my life. So many should thoughts, but you have no energy, no plan, and you're just building pressure for yourself. So you lie there, you open another app, you watch another video, you say, I'll start later, but later never comes. And then you start to feel guilty. And that guilt makes you feel even more stuck. It's a loop. It's not just you. It's a whole cycle. So, first off, I want to say you are not lazy. Because you're not lazy. You aren't. You're just tired. Maybe your brain is tired, or your heart is tired, or your body is tired. Maybe all of them. And you might feel stuck because you carry a lot. You have old stress, old hurt, old pressure from school, from family, from yourself. You tell yourself, I should be further. Everyone else is ahead. I'm behind in life. And those thoughts don't really help you. They just freeze you. So when your brain starts to feel unsafe, it doesn't move. It just stays in one place. And that's not really laziness. That's just you protecting yourself. So the first thing you gotta do is please just stop calling yourself lazy. Instead, I want you to say, I am overwhelmed and tired. I need smaller steps. I deserve super gentle progress. There are many reasons you might feel stuck. Let's name a few. 1, there are too many choices. You want to fix everything. Your room, your grades, your job, your body, your social life, all at once. That's too much. Your brain will start glitching. 2, the fear of failing. You think, if I try and I fail, I'll feel worse. So you don't move. You just stay still to avoid that pain. 3, you don't really have a clear path. I want a better life is too big. It has no steps. Your brain needs steps. 4, maybe you push too hard for too long. So now your brain just says, we are done. And everything else feels heavy. 5, you compare too much. So you'll scroll on your phone and you'll see other people winning their lives with new jobs, new degrees, new cars, new bodies. And then you start to think, I'm behind. So you freeze. All of these can make you feel stuck. Now, here's the part that you actually clicked for. How to fix it without the grind talk, without the wake up at 5 talk. I want to explain this in real human steps. I'm going to break it down in simple steps, okay? That you can try today. You don't need to do all of them. You can just pick 1 or 2 and start there. First, admit it. Say, I feel stuck right now. And don't say it in a mean way, not I suck or just this is my state. You can say it to yourself in your head or in a note. Naming it takes away some power and makes it less foggy, more clear. Next, I want your goals to shrink. Your goals are probably huge. Fix my life. Be successful. Be healthy. Stop being like this. Yeah, no, those are too big. Take one area, just one. For example, your room, your schoolwork, your job search, your health. Pick one. We will not fix all of it, okay? Now, shrink it more. Instead of clean my room, try, I'm gonna clean 1 corner and I'm gonna throw away 5 things. Instead of do all, try to open the website and I'm gonna do 1 question. Instead of get my dream job, you should try open my resume file, search 1 job. Make the task so small it feels almost dumb. That tiny feeling is good because your brain starts to think, okay, that's not scary. We can do that. Set a timer for 5 minutes, just 5, not 50, and do 1 tiny task for those 5 minutes. You can pick off the clothes from your floor. You could wash 3 dishes. You can reply to 1 email. You can work on 1 homework. And when the timer ends, you can stop. If you feel done, that's okay. You still keep going, cool. Then I want you to keep going. Our goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to just have some sort of movement, some sort of stepping stone. 5 minutes is proof that you can move. You're not fully stuck. Sometimes you feel stuck because your space is linked to doing nothing. Your bed is for scroll time, your desk is your stress zone. So try a small shift. So change the lighting, move 1 piece of furniture, sit on the floor, work at a cafe or a library. I know it sounds a lot, but trust me, new space will give you a new brain signal. And right now, you are just telling yourself we are doing something new now. You don't need a full room makeover. You just need 1 small little change to break the loop. And another thing is you should brain dump everything. Grab paper or notes app, whatever. Write down everything in your head. Things you need to do. Things you're worried about. Things you feel guilty about. Do not organize it. Just dump it. You're going to text this person. You're going to book a doctor. You're going to clean your desk. You're going to do school stuff, money stress, all of it. Just dump it.
Kabar, hari ini aku mau membahas sesuatu yang lucu. Kenapa lucu? Karena berkaitan dengan Amerika. Aku minta maaf. Tapi intinya Amerika. Maaf, aku minta maaf kalau telinga kalian kenapa. Tapi intinya gini. Hari ini aku mau membahas sesuatu yang menurutku unik dan lucu. Jadi suatu hari aku ngelihat ada postingan ini kayak 10 Desember. Ini sekarang kan tanggal 12, tapi aku baru bisa ngelihat di sekitar tanggal sekarang gitu. Nah, jadi intinya di tanggal 10 Desember kemarin ada postingan ini. Kalau misalnya Uma Musume Pretty Derby itu beneran jujur, kuda kesukaanmu itu nggak bakal dapat comeback art. Nah, jadi satu file event balapannya selesai dan itu yang terjadi ke Silent Suzuka. Terus dia ngasih gambar ini dan tulisannya di dunia nyata Silent Suzuka itu menderita luka yang sangat parah, cedera yang sangat parah, jadi dia harus dimati. Dan di sini gambarnya menurutku agak grafik dan di sini dilihatkannya pada dasarnya kaki Silent Suzuka patah. Nah, masalahnya pertama, Pita itu berhubungan atau berkaitan atau bersenggolan dengan komunitas yang salah ya. Kita tahu komunitas Uma Musume itu adalah komunitas yang baik. Uma Musume itu baik. Kenapa baik? Karena kita bisa banyak ngelihat seberapa berkembangnya scene kuda-kudaan ini. Kuda yang udah pensiun, kuda yang lagi naik namanya, atau bahkan kuda-kuda lama, mereka tuh jadi punya funding yang lebih gede, lebih diperhatikan, lebih dirawat, dan orang-orang jadi lebih peduli dengan kuda-kuda pada dasarnya kayak gitu. Orang lebih aware dengan kesejahteraan kuda, bahkan meskipun kudanya itu udah pensiun. Kayak misalnya beberapa waktu lalu kayak Haru Urara dikasih makan. Yang basically dia dikasih makan secara nggak terbatas sama komunitas. Kayak komunitasnya ngasih rumput banyak banget gitu. Bahkan ada gambar meme-nya gitu, kayak Haru Urara ditumpukin sama rumput gitu kan. Terus habis itu Mesiodoto, yang dimana orang-orang funding buat bikin rumahnya Mesiodoto atau courtnya atau tempat-tempatnya Mesiodoto jadi lebih baik untuk renovasi gitu loh. Sedangkan Pita mengeluarkan sesuatu yang kayak gini, dan menurutku ini menjijikkan banget men. Sumpah ini menjijikkan banget. Aku nggak punya kata-kata lain selain itu, selain menjijikkan. Pita di sini pengen kayak bikin kita kelihatan, kalian tahu nggak sih kuda tuh disiksa tahu buat begini begitu. Kayak bro, shut up. Orang-orang jadi lebih peduli sama kuda daripada kau gitu. Yang aku permasalahkan dari peta ini gilanya nggak masuk akal. Tapi pertama-tama gini, aku nggak akan deny beberapa prestasinya Pita. Bagaimana cara mereka ingin menyelamatkan, dalam tanda kutip menyelamatkan kuda-kudaan. Kayak misalnya gini, dia adalah beberapa ini masalah obat-obatan kuda. Terus habis itu peraturan yang lebih strict gitu kan. Terus habis itu lasix itu nggak ada lagi. Kayak misalnya New Jersey ban whipping, jadi nggak boleh pakai pecut lagi gitu. Oke, jadi ada sebenarnya baiknya Peta, ada baiknya. Tapi caranya dia menurutku tolol. Dengan kayak gini, ini rage bait paling goblok yang pernah ada di dunia. Maksudku dengan mereka ngeposting kayak gini, apakah orang-orang jadi peduli dengan kuda? Aku nggak yakin, dan aku nggak yakin banget men. Karena yang ada orang malah makin benci sama mereka gitu loh. Masalahnya Pita tuh bukan cuma ini. Aku ragu bahkan kalau Pita itu bener-bener peduli dengan hewan. Karena sejauh pengamatanku, Peta itu bener-bener agak anjing kalau masalah hewan. You know what I mean? Gini, kita mundur lagi ke belakang. Apa sih yang salah dari postingan itu? Pertama, postingan itu menunjukkan seolah-olah atau kelihatannya kita nggak peduli dengan Silent Suzuka. Padahal Silent Suzuka itu adalah salah satu kuda yang dimana kita itu peduli banget. Dia tuh salah satu kuda yang punya cerita yang baik banget, bagus banget. Kayak misalnya ketika dia kakinya patah, dia mengutamakan keselamatan jokinya dulu. Lari ke pinggir terus habis itu melan. Dan sayangnya karena cederanya udah terlalu parah dan gak bisa diobati, jadi ya mau gak mau dia harus diakhiri hidupnya di situ. Masalahnya bukan cuma itu doang. Masalahnya dengan postingan itu seolah-olah kita kayak dianggap gak memberikan legacy kepada si Silent Suzuka. Aku jujur ya, aku sedih banget ngelihat postingan tadi karena kita para pemain Uma Musume tuh yakin banget loh, kita cukup bersyukur loh dengan adanya balapan kuda dan diceritakan masalah kuda-kuda yang kayak gitu, kita jadi lebih peduli loh. Kayak misalnya di Indonesia sendiri event kuda-kudaan kayak yang dari Sarga kan, Shadow to Sarga, mereka itu jadi orang-orang jadi lebih peduli, lebih pengen datang ke tempat balapannya, lebih peduli dengan kudanya dan lain-lain. Terus yang kedua, postingan tadi itu bermasalah karena mereka itu benar-benar ngelanggar guideline-nya Uma Musume. Kayak misalnya gini, pekerjaan yang dibuat untuk menyakiti atau merusak reputasi franchise ini dan third party. Yang dimana di sini mereka postingan tadi itu jelas-jelas kayak ngerusak reputasinya yang punya Silent Suzuka dan peternakannya, beserta merusak nama Uma Musume atau bahkan kayak JRA itu sendiri. Karena kelihatannya kayak JRA gak peduli, padahal JRA itu peduli banget. Terus kedua, pekerjaan yang kasar di sini violent maksudnya. Terus habis itu sexual and otherwise obscene nature. Jadi di sini tuh kayak ya udah jelas kata violent di sini kan gak bener ya. Ini tuh menyakitin banget gitu, kayak sadis men kalau dipikir-pikir postingan tadi tuh. Dan intinya dari 7 guideline ini, intinya mereka udah ngelanggar 5 atau bahkan lebih peraturan-peraturan yang udah ditetapkan sama Uma Musume. Masalahnya di sini mereka tuh pakai gambar Silent Suzuka yang dimana ini IP punya betul. Dia itu punya dari Saigame atau Uma Musume. Itu kenapa aku yakin banget setelah posting ini mereka itu dapat backlash yang gede banget. Bahkan ya, kalau kamu mau ngeliat juga, di sini tuh like-nya 3.000 nih. Aku nggak tahu siapa manusia yang nge-like ini 3.000 biji nih, sama 7.000. Ada 7.000 orang yang nge-quote tweet atau nge-retweet dan bahkan 9.000 orang yang nanggepin. Jujur, aku berharap Peta bakal kena lawsuit ya, bakal dituntut sama Uma Musume atau Saigame. Karena menurutku emang Peta ini atau Pita ini organisasi yang korup aja gitu, organisasi yang gak bener. Kalau misalnya kita mau ngelihat, beberapa orang tuh berpikiran hal yang sama. Ada misalnya orang yang bilang, sungguh penghinaan besar terhadap warisan yang dihidupkan kembali melalui Uma Musume. Pertama, salut untuk Peta karena melanggar pedoman Saigame untuk ini. Kedua, kisah Silent Suzuka tidak sederhana. Kami membiarkan kuda itu berlari sampai... Padahal enggak men, cederanya Suzuka itu karena ya Silent Suzuka ya emang lagi lari dan unfortunately kakinya patah gitu loh. Dan di sini tuh orang-orang akhirnya sadar kalau ternyata emang Peta tuh semenjijikkan itu. Karena di sini mereka itu menurut berita ini Peta membeli saham di race track. Maksudku kayak kau kayak anti balapan kuda tapi membeli saham balapan kuda. Cerdas kata gua, cerdas. Emang Amerika keren. Kayak gobloknya udah kagak kelewat batas. Kok kira Korra Peta sampai situ? Kagak men, Korra Peta tuh lebih parah lagi. Pernah ada satu kasus, Peta bilang minta maaf karena udah ngambil peliharaan orang. Dan diakhiri hidupnya. Dan akhirnya mereka harus membayar $49.000 sebagai tanda perdamaian yang peduli dengan hewan. You know what I mean? Tiba-tiba mereka ngomong, ya mending mereka mau katanya daripada dikasih makan gitu. Artikelnya sendiri bilang, don't be fooled by the slick propaganda of PETA. Jangan mau dibego-begoin sama propagandanya PETA. Terus habis itu, 2 karyawan PETA itu dituntut dengan 31 tuntutan tentang kejahatan binatang. Bro, untuk orang atau organisasi yang bilang mereka cinta hewan dan melindungi hewan, 31 karyawannya itu dituntut atas kekerasan terhadap hewan. Itu kalau bukan gila apa namanya, Mek? Astagfirullahalazim kalau kata gua. Terus habis itu mereka juga ketahuan nih ngebuang mayat 18 hewan. Udah kayak gitu. Crazy, sumpah gila, men. Aku kayak gak habis pikir. Jadi kayak aduh anjing, ini kayak Ini nggak sehat men. Peta seenggak sehat itu. Kok kira cuma sampai situ? Kagak bro, kagak. Kita lihat lagi nih. Animal shelternya Peta itu tuh menunjukkan kalau itu adalah tempat yang gak menyenangkan gitu. Kayak menunjukkan kalau itu ada tempat yang menyeramkan. Karena apa? Karena gini, Peta itu punya shelter. Bukan lagunya Porter Robinson, bukan. Nih artikelnya nih. Peta NAC and Virginia Status State Euthanasia gitu, euthanasia. Nih ya, ada data yang nunjukin, artikel ini nunjukin nih, 67 sekitar 60-an% lebih hewan yang masuk ke dalam peta ya, kayak anjing, kucing atau hewan-hewan lainnya, itu setengah persennya atau 60% lebihnya itu dimatiin anjir. Bayangkan, misal nih, kalau aku nggak dapat idea atau nggak tahu seberapa gobloknya peta ya, kasih tahu kau. Sekarang gini, ada 100 hewan, terus dimasukin ke dalam shelternya peta ya, 60%-nya itu mau, jadi hewannya tinggal 40 doang. Gila, untuk organisasi yang peduli dengan hewan masuk akal banget kayaknya ya kelakuan mereka ya. Dibandingkan dengan organisasi lain 19%, 16%, 18% atau bahkan 10% gitu. Average animal shelter yang lain itu sekitar 10%. Ini nggak masuk akal anjir. Ini nggak masuk akal. Kok mereka malah jahat gitu? Kok mereka malah gitu loh? Kok mereka malah tolol kata gue. Kayak nih, ada orang yang bilang juga, company ini bohong banget. Mereka itu pura-pura peduli tentang tentang hewan supaya bisa farming good social point, supaya bisa kelihatan baik. Padahal ya, fans Uma Musume itu lebih baik dalam peduli kepada kuda beneran dan memberikan makanan. Habis itu intinya fanbase-nya lebih peduli kepada real life horse daripada peta itu sendiri. Contoh, nih buat rumah Mesio Dotto. Jadi segini banyak nih duit yang dikasih. Emang bisa peta kayak gitu? Peta kan punya prinsip ya, daripada hidup mending kita mautin aja gitu. You know what I mean? Daripada shelter itu lebih mirip tempat eksekusi. Aku setuju sih. Sumpah ini organisasi yang paling goblok anjir. Aku gak ngerti. Maksudku ada banyak loh cara supaya kau itu bisa kelihatan baik di mata publik daripada membuat hal yang kayak gini. Ini kita baru ngomongin masalah yang recent ya, baru ngomongin masalah yang baru terkuak. Kau tahu nggak? Aku bakal ngasih tahu kau satu hal dan menurutku ini bakal bikin kau kayak ini goblok banget. Mereka goblok banget. Satu lagi nih ya, kegoblokan mereka ya. Peta bilang peta itu nuntut Nintendo supaya menghilangkan karakter sapi. Maksudnya kan sapi ada tindiknya tuh di Mario Kart. Mereka minta supaya itu dihilangkan. Goblok. Nih anjing, kalau kagak percaya sama gua, kalau kagak percaya, nih peta mau Nintendo ngehilangkan anting sapi di Mario Kart. Gila, gak masuk akal banget. Mereka tuh ngirimin letter, mereka ngirimin surat gitu. Ngirimin surat ke Nintendo buat kayak begini. Crazy. Mereka ngirimin surat ke Nintendo buat kayak begini. Gila kata gua. Masalah yang ada di dunia, mereka ngurusin masalah game. Tapi jangan salah ya, kita ngelihat hewan peliharaan atau hewan ternak, ya kita juga kadang-kadang ngerasa empati gitu. Aku juga ngerasa empati dengan beberapa hewan, kayak misalnya kucing, anjing, atau hewan-hewan kayak monyet gitu. Kayak kita kan monyet-monyet juga gitu. Aku peduli dengan mereka. Tapi caranya peta menurutku nggak bener aja. Menolak lupa kalau peta dulu juga mulai war sama Pokemon. Tuh kan kegobloknya emang sampai situ gitu. Jangan salah, aku peduli dengan hewan men. Aku peduli dengan hewan. Meskipun aku gak melihara hewan, tapi aku peduli. Aku kasihan ngeliat hewan-hewan. Apalagi kalau misalnya mereka diperlakukan dengan secara tidak baik sama orang. Kadang-kadang ya aku tersinggung juga, aku marah juga gitu. Cuma peta ini udah kelewat batas aja. Mereka ini udah kayak gak masuk di akal gitu loh. Aku ngerasa sedih aja sih. Kok bisa ya ada orang yang mentok banget gitu loh. Mentok banget sampai kayak begini. Aku ngerti sebenarnya tujuannya itu pengen supaya kita lebih aware, lebih kayak peduli dengan kuda gitu kan, lebih peduli dengan hewan kan. Apalagi Uma Musume juga kita tahu komunitinya ada banyak gitu, dan mereka sangat peduli dengan kuda dalam game atau kuda asli gitu. Cuma ya salah aja caranya gitu. Ada cara yang lebih baik daripada kok mancing yang kayak gini. Kok bisa gitu ngasih tahu kayak ada pesan yang gampang banget dan lebih enak buat ngasih taunya gitu daripada bikin yang kayak gitu. Lebih baik kau tinggal ngasih tahu fakta atau bahkan statistik kuda yang tersakiti dalam balapan itu bla 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 gitu. Setiap harinya atau apa, itu mungkin gerakan PR yang lebih baik daripada kayak yang begitu gitu. You know what I mean? Dulu sebelum ada Uma Musume, aku yakin kuda tuh lebih buruk nasibnya. Karena ya beberapa di antara mereka mungkin kayak nggak diurus setelah pensiun atau apa gitu kan. Tapi ya dengan adanya musume, mereka bisa jadi jauh lebih baik. Selama ini sejauh mata memandang, aku nggak pernah ngelihat Pita itu ngelakukan W move gitu. Kayak mereka sering ngelakukan hal-hal goblok aja daripada hal-hal yang benar gitu. Kayak aku nggak yakin mereka emang punya niatan untuk peduli dengan hewan sih. Aku yakinnya mereka tuh lebih ke arah konservatif banget. Hewan itu harusnya liar apa segala bla 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 gitu kan. Ya kurang lebih kayak gitu. Itu yang dalam kepala aku ya. Mereka tuh ngerasa mungkin nggak boleh ada hewan yang dipelihara gitu. Secara naluri dan secara apapun ya manusia pemakan segala, kita butuh protein dari daging ya jelas kita juga pasti makan daging gitu. Ya udahlah ya itu aja dulu. Aku daripada kepalang emosi mending kita.
Gimana sih ciri-ciri pasangan yang bakal jadi fatherless kalau gue nikah sama orang ini?
Waduh, berat, minum dulu. Misalnya nih dalam suatu relationship dia udah ngeliat bahwa tampak asik sendiri, nggak tampak engage, nggak mau mendengarkan, nggak mau untuk memvalidasi perasaan. Ini berarti membayangkan pada saat pacaran dia seperti itu, ketika punya anak pun akan seperti itu juga. Fatherless itu adalah sebuah istilah yang kita gunakan pada sosok anak yang dia tuh tidak memiliki sosok ayah. Tetapi ada juga nih orang-orang yang merasa iya bapakku ada tapi kok kayak nggak ada.
Paling parah tuh yang mana sih? Yang karena meninggal kah? Perceraian kah? Atau sebenarnya yang sosoknya ada tapi nggak ada gitu?
Yang paling parah ini pasti orang-orang pada salah ngira.
Selamat datang lagi di podcast Ruang Tunggu. Masih sama aku, hostnya Sora, dan narasumber abadi kita, Dr. Rema.
Hai penunggu sekalian.
Oke, hari ini aku mau bahas yang lagi rame banget nih di sosial media ya, di TikTok, di Instagram tentang fatherless behaviors. Kayak gitu. Tapi nih kalau aku lihat-lihat nih di TikTok ataupun Instagram tuh kayaknya agak-agak sedikit banyak yang ngebahas tuh, terus aku ngerasanya kayaknya nggak kayak gini deh fatherless tuh. Apa jangan-jangan kayak gini? Apa aku jangan-jangan yang kurang banyak tahu gitu ya tentang fatherless ini. Tapi jadinya penasaran nih, jadi pengen menggali lebih dalam tentang fatherless ini. Gimana kalau bahas hari ini?
Boleh, seru tuh ya.
Oke.
Sebagai seseorang yang fatherless, saya bisa menjadi narasumber yang baik.
Oh iya juga.
Loh, bener kan?
Aduh jadi dark gini. Gak expect ke situ jokesnya. Oke, kalau kayak gitu hari ini kita bahas fatherless. Jadi kalau gitu kita masuk ke segmen apa ya yang cocok? Durian kali ya.
Wah, sebagai fatherless saya menderita. Yes, ini adalah penderitaan.
Oke, kalau gitu kita masuk ke segmen
Durian.
Dunia dalam penderitaan.
penderitaan.
Cararadam.
Nah, saya klarifikasi dulu ya, ini bukan berarti bapak saya tidak hadir ya, tapi bapak saya memang beneran physically tidak ada gitu.
Ya, meninggal.
Daripada ntar dibilang, oh Dr. Andreas jadi psikiater gara-gara bapaknya nggak hadir.
Memang tidak ada.
Sejak 2018 ya.
Iya. Tapi itu kan juga masuk sebagai fatherless juga gitu ya.
Oke, kalau gitu kita samakan dulu suaranya di do ya.
Do.
Gimana kalau kita samakan suaranya dulu? Fatherless itu sebenarnya apa sih?
Oke. Karena kalau ada fatherless berarti apakah ada fatherful gitu kan, yang bapaknya hadir terus-terusan.
Fulfillment father.
Fulfillment. Kalau dari katanya ya father, ayah, less itu kan adalah suatu istilah gitu ya. Dalam bahasa Inggris tuh artinya kekurangan atau tidak ada. Nah, jadi fatherless itu adalah sebuah istilah yang kita gunakan pada sosok anak yang dia tuh tidak memiliki sosok ayah. Oke, dan bisa jadi karena ayahnya meninggal dunia pada anak yatim misalnya kan, dia dari kecil nggak dapat sosok ayah, bisa dibilang dia fatherless. Tetapi ada juga nih orang-orang yang merasa iya bapakku ada tapi kok kayak nggak ada.
AFK.
Iya, AFK bilang gitu kayak ini kadang-kadang muncul gitu di rumah tiba-tiba kayak misalnya ngopi, ngerokok udah pergi lagi. Jadi kalau dibilang punya ayah, punya. Ayahmu seperti apa? Nggak tahu juga. Nah, jadi ini pun masuk
Tidak
kategori
kenalan ya.
betul, fatherless juga, dia nggak kenal dengan ayahnya. Begitu ada juga yang mungkin karena perpisahan. Jadi misalnya orang tuanya memutuskan untuk nggak bersama lagi, lalu ayahnya memiliki keluarga lagi. Ini kan sosok ayahnya ada sebenarnya. Tapi ya tadi fatherless juga merasa kok jadinya kayak nggak ada nih. Nah ini akhirnya berdampak pada si anak ini karena dia jadi bingung harus ngapain dalam proses tumbuh besarnya. Karena kan katanya anak itu butuh dua sosok lengkap ya, ayah dan ibu. Untuk menjadi tumbuh dengan utuh.
Tapi kadang-kadang sosok ayah ini tuh nggak ada juga ya.
Dan seringkali itu yang membawa pasien-pasien datang ke saya untuk berobat.
Tapi kan nggak mungkin tiba-tiba dia tahu aja gitu sosoknya. Tapi biasanya muncul dengan keluhan lain dong. Nggak
Betul.
tiba-tiba kayak, dok saya nggak punya ayah gitu.
Tiba-tiba datang, "Dok, saya nggak punya papa." Lah, apakah saya diminta jadi papanya apa gimana gitu? Betul sekali, karena mereka sering datangnya itu dengan misalnya dia jadi ada kemarahan yang sulit
Oh.
diregulasi. Ada yang dia berkali-kali gagal dalam hubungan, dalam relationship. Falling in love with people they cannot have. Wah, itu sering tuh. Emang gimana datangnya bilang, "Iya saya punya pasangan, tapi pasangan ini complicated." Complicatednya kenapa? Ternyata misalnya sudah berkeluarga, usianya 30 tahun di atas saya, begitu.
Iya,
Nah, jadi
saya sebenarnya suka sama pasangan saya tapi keluarganya nggak setuju.
begitu tuh, itu beneran ada dalam kondisi sehari-hari. Dan kalau sekarang mungkin kita mendengarnya itu sesuatu yang bisa lucu, ketawa. Tapi bagi yang mengalami, ini pun dia juga jadi menderita karena dia juga nggak paham. Kalau disuruh milih, ya dia memilih memiliki hubungan yang biasa-biasa saja seperti orang pada umumnya. Tapi tadi ini ternyata apa yang terjadi di masa kecil itu mempengaruhi sekali gimana dia berpikir dan berproses. Begitu.
Nah, sesuai dari TikTok yang aku lihat nih, kebanyakan dari TikTok tuh katanya Indonesia ini fatherless-nya itu banyak banget. Katanya ada 15 juta anak yang fatherless.
15 juta anak
Iya,
fatherless.
fatherless. Emang sebanyak itu ya?
Bisa jadi, mungkin bapaknya mencari pekerjaan.
Siapa tahu. Nah, kembali artinya gini, kita jangan buru-buru menuduh gitu ya. Karena
Oke.
ini kan bisa banyak sekali penyebabnya. Jangan lupa bahwa karena Indonesia jumlah populasinya banyak, wajar juga kalau angka tertentu jadi lebih banyak juga. Kalau misalnya ditanya tentang berapa jumlahnya, aku mungkin belum tahu secara pasti juga gitu ya. Karena kan ini butuh data. Karena tadi juga belum tentu loh seorang anak yang fatherless, yang sosok ayahnya nggak ada, belum tentu juga hidupnya bakal jadi berantakan. Begitu.
Oh, jadi paling parah tuh yang mana sih? Yang karena meninggal kah? Perceraian kah? Atau sebenarnya yang paling parah tuh yang sosoknya ada, tapi nggak ada gitu?
Oke. Yang paling parah, ini pasti orang-orang pada salah ngira.
Oke.
Oke, karena orang akan ngira bahwa yang paling berat itu, paling parah adalah ketika orang tuanya meninggal dunia. Secara menyakitkan, iya, itu paling menyakitkan. Tetapi, bayangkan gini, kalau seorang anak, dia dari kecil ayahnya meninggal dunia, dia sangat sakit, tetapi lingkungan akan mensupport.
Oke.
Orang-orang sekitar bakal, oh kamu kasihan ya, bahkan bisa di mungkin kebudayaan tertentu disantuni.
Oke.
Begitu. Orang-orang
Iya,
kasihan
iya,
dengan
iya,
dia,
iya.
dan dia pun jadi mengenali kehilangan tersebut sebagai grief atau duka. Berbeda dengan seorang anak yang misalnya ayahnya nggak ada, karena misalnya ayahnya tidak hadir, entah pergi, kabur gitu, beli susu nggak balik lagi gitu misalnya. Atau orang tua berpisah dan ayahnya mungkin jalin hubungan yang lain lagi. Pada saat ini seorang anak akan sangat mungkin berpikir bahwa ayahnya pergi karena dia.
Oke.
Nah, pada seorang anak itu ada proses namanya itu egosentrisme. Egosentrisme pada anak itu biasanya di bawah 10 tahun menganggap bahwa semua hal yang terjadi di dunia itu karena aku.
Oke.
Jadi kalau orang tuanya bercerai itu karena dirinya. Ayahnya menikah lagi itu karena dirinya. Ayahnya punya keluarga lain dan berbahagia dengan keluarga itu karena dirinya yang kurang pantas dicintai. Nah, jadi kalau yang proses ini mungkin secara menyakitkan tidak setajam pada meninggal gitu ya, pada kedukaan. Tetapi tadi ongoingnya itu dia akan terus mempertanyakan diri. Belum lagi lingkungan sekitar mungkin tidak sebaik itu pada dia. Nah, itu yang sering mungkin nanti dia diledek, dikata-katain gitu. Itu jadi menyakitkan juga gitu. Jadi kalau tanya mana yang lebih berat, ya berbeda dari hari terjadinya atau follow up-nya itu.
Nah, sebaiknya seorang ibu gitu mencari sosok bapak baru, atau sebaiknya ya udah sih. Ya udah gituin aja gitu.
Menarik. Kita mungkin ini yang nanya pada teman-teman kira-kira bagaimana kalau pendapat kalian? Karena aku juga punya pendapat sendiri, teorinya pun ada gitu. Kalau buat Sora misalnya, kamu mendingan ya, apakah kalau misalnya tadi sosok ayah nggak ada, digantikankah dengan bapak lain atau sosok yang lain?
Kalau kata aku ya udah sih mendingan gak usah ada aja.
Oke. Jadi lihat kan tiap orang bisa berbeda-beda.
Iya.
Karena begini, kita mungkin berpikirnya sebagai seseorang yang orang tuanya lengkap ya. Orang dengan keluarga yang lengkap dan utuh, dia akan berpikir kasihannya seorang anak ini nggak ada ayah. Tapi kalau anak ini nggak ada ayah dari kecil, itu yang dia tahu.
Iya.
Jadi kalaupun misalnya nggak ada, belum tentu juga tadi, makanya belum tentu jadi hancur. Pasti ada yang kurang. Nah, ini jadi menjawab pertanyaan, apakah perlu digantikan atau enggak? Sebaiknya memang ada sosok yang lengkap. Artinya di dalam sebuah keluarga itu ada sosok ibu dan ada sosok ayah. Sayangnya ibu seringkali tadi dia berpikir bahwa udah aku saja yang menggantikan juga sosok ibu dan ayah. Secara teoretikal bisa. Tapi bayangin ya, menjadi seorang ibu aja udah susah.
Iya.
Ngurus rumah, dia harus bekerja juga. Akhirnya gimana dia bisa untuk memproses itu semua dengan kapasitas waktu dan energi yang terbatas. Nah, makanya kita menyarankan anak ini tetap sebaiknya punya sosok laki-laki dewasa. Dan sosok ini bisa dalam bentuk siapapun. Om misalnya, oke, atau kakek, atau guru. Nah, apabila ada sosok seperti ini membuat anak ini bisa tumbuh dengan lebih baik. Dan kalau kita bilang ya, ini bukan ibunya mencari substitusi, tapi mencari referensi. Supaya anak ini punya setidaknya gambaran, ini loh orang dewasa tuh seperti gini.
Dan ada beberapa hal juga yang sebenarnya nggak bisa dikasih tahu oleh gender ya. Jadi by gender, karena kan kalau misalnya anaknya pria atau anaknya wanita itu ada sesuatu yang bisa dikasih tahu oleh ibu dan ada sesuatu yang bisa dikasih tahu oleh ayah ya.
Betul banget. Kita nggak bermaksud membeda-bedakan ya, kan bilang bahwa ya misalnya dibilang kan anak cukup 2, laki perempuan sama saja. Ya mungkin ada benernya tentang seperti itu. Tapi ternyata 2 anak ini pun memproses dengan berbeda sekali.
Juga. Iya. Dan ya ingat nggak sih ada YouTube yang bilang kayak I wish my father told this. Ya itu juga.
Waktu itu nemu ya beberapa waktu yang lalu tuh ada akun YouTube nih luar negeri sih.
Iya.
Yang dia tuh cuma nih seorang bapak akan ngasih tahu ini ke anaknya. Betulinmu memiliki ketertarikan di situ. Makanya di sini kita jadi perlu tahu apa sih peran ayah dalam sebuah keluarga.
Nah, kalau kayak gitu gimana sih cara untuk kenalin sebenarnya ketertarikan emosi itu gimana gitu, untuk kayak available untuk emosi kita kenal sama orang tua tuh gimana sih gitu, kayak ketertarikan ayah kita tuh di mana dan ketertarikan kita tuh di mana gitu.
Oke, ini nggak lepas dari perannya seorang ayah. Aku mungkin akan bahas ini tentang apa sih perannya ayah, karena selama ini kan yang kita tahu ya di buku bahasa Indonesia atau buku PPKN zaman dulu, ayah bekerja, ibu di rumah, itu kan nggak salah juga, cuma itu klasik banget ya. Sekarang ketika kita berada di dunia yang semuanya serba equal gitu, kita ada kesetaraan gender, bisa jadi orang tuanya ini ibunya yang bekerja, ayahnya mengurus rumah, itu bisa jadi seperti itu. Nah, tapi dalam tadi konteks yang klasik memang ada provider. Seringkali ini menjadi sosok ayah. Nah, jadi salah satunya tadi peran ayah adalah untuk mungkin memprovide. Memprovide apa? Ya memprovide mungkin tempat tinggal ataupun ya, uang, makanan, termasuk juga memprovide rasa aman. Oke. Kedua, peran ayah ini bisa menjadi regulator emosi. Oke, jadi dianggapnya gini, ketika seorang anak ini lagi marah, ya ayahnya ini bisa untuk membantu meregulasi itu. Bukan dengan bilang nggak boleh marah, tapi kadang-kadang tadi mungkin dia perlu untuk mengeksplor marahnya itu. Termasuk ketika senang juga diajak main, ketika nangis juga diajak ngomong. Nah, itu regulator, sebagai regulator itu. Jadi di kondisi yang ideal, anak ini jadi bisa untuk mengerti perasaannya. Oke. Nah, jadi tadi selain dia untuk provide dan tadi melindungi, itu bisa jadi menjadi regulator. Dan yang ketiga ini adalah tentang dia menjadi mirror image. Mirror image itu artinya kayak dia bercermin kan. Jadi seorang anak ini ketika bercermin kan dia membayangkan, wah aku seperti ini nampaknya. Nah, ketika dia memiliki seorang ayah yang bisa menjadi role model, jadi seolah-olah nih anak ini membayangkan, oh aku mau menjadi dewasa seperti ini. Kalau ini anak perempuan, dia membayangkan aku mau punya pasangan yang seperti ayahku ini. Dengan catatan, ayahnya beres. Oke. Karena tadi bayangkan kalau misalnya ayahnya di rumah abusive, pemabok, banting-banting barang. Bisa jadi tadi mirroringnya jadi ngaco. Seorang anak yang cowok mungkin berpikir, oh inilah cara aku memperlakukan seorang perempuan. Yang perempuan mungkin berpikir bahwa, oh yang memang laki-laki itu seperti ini, abusive, mukul. Jadi tadi itu bisa dilakukan apabila tadi memang sosok ayah ini bisa dibilang ya tadi bisa memenuhi sesuai dengan harapan keluarga tersebut.
I see. Apa sih yang bakal terjadi kalau misalnya si sosok ayah ini tuh tadi tuh nggak memenuhi 3 kriteria tersebut gitu, kayak misalnya nggak jadi regulator, nggak bisa jadi provider, dan nggak bisa juga jadi
mirror
tadi.
Image itu.
Hari guys, 13 hari dari baru kenalan, gue lagi drama di gereja jadi pohon ara. Jadi pas kenalan tuh, halo, gue masih serius pohon iya. Gue kemarin pernah ngejoke sama bini gue bilang, nikah tuh lucu ya. Nikah tuh sebenarnya kayak perjalanan 2 orang aneh yang bertemu. Tapi tinggal lihat lu bisa tahan anehnya yang mana gitu. Sekarang bahkan kita sering banget denger standar TikTok.
Kenapa cari jodoh susah?
Kenapa cari jodoh Susah. Enggak ya? Nggak tahu. So, teman-teman, sebentar nih Klar.
Oke.
Semua orang di sini harus tahu. Ini happy banget, thank you. Kemarin udah 2 episode. Puji Tuhan banyak teman-teman yang bilang membantu gitu ya.
Yeay.
Dan banyak yang bilang gini dong, ada POV cewek. Ya memang Clara dihadirkan di sini untuk jadi berkat menampilkan POV cewek, dan teman-teman mau appreciate juga. Kalian harus tahu, syuting beberapa episode ke depan ini dilakukan pada first periodnya Clara. Weh, jadi tolong di-appreciate dulu ya teman-teman ya. Bantal nih, bantal. Tapi hari ini beda, Clara. Kalau kemarin kan kita ngobrol berdua tuh kita harus membawa flow conversation juga ya. Hari ini kita akan ada bantuan.
Asik.
Dari
Prompter.
Iya.
Karena suaranya lucu ya kemarin ya, banyak yang suka ya.
Iya.
Makanya sekarang gue dikasih mic ya.
Udah dapat mic.
Tapi tetaplah wajah gue disensor kali ya.
Disensor suara aja. Jadi yang penting dia nyeletuk, kita ngobrol.
Kayak suara Tuhan gitu ya.
Anjir. Sama. Gimana nih Pak jadinya nih Pak pembahasannya?
Oke,
nih, Pak?
kenapa susah cari jodoh? Kita ngobrolin terms jodoh dulu kali.
Oke.
Nah, jodoh di sini tuh apa? Apakah pacar, pasangan hidup?
Pasangan hidup buat
ya.
dinikahin kali ya.
Husband
Oke,
or wife.
berarti jodoh di sini adalah calon husband or wife.
Iya, karena kalau cari pacar kan tinggal pacaran aja sebenarnya. Betul
Iya,
nggak?
Tinggal pacaran tuh gimana ya?
Tapi kan belum tentu kompatibel untuk jangka panjang.
Iya.
Tapi apakah itu benar-benar susah buat kalian berdua cari jodoh? Kan Teo udah married.
Nah ini mungkin nanti Clara bisa ngobrol dari POV-nya Clara kali ya.
Jadi sebenarnya gue harusnya jadi audiens di sini ya.
Pribadi menurut gue, gak tahu ya, puji Tuhan kalau gue merasa cari pacar dan cari jodoh memang diberikan kemudahan dalam hidup ini. Bukan sombong. Ini fun fact pada nggak tahu. Guys, gue tuh mungkin lu udah tahu ya, teman-teman banyak yang nggak tahu. Gue sama istri gue Dita, itu kita kan berelasi 13 tahun. 8 tahun pacaran, 5 tahun nikah. Tebak PDKT-nya berapa hari? Dari baru kenal sampai pacaran.
Gue udah tahu lagi.
Setahun lah.
Setahun.
Ya seorang Teo kan ini
Penuh planning
Penuh
gitu
planning.
ya. Cet gitu ya.
Ternyata
13 hari guys. 13 hari dari baru kenalan, gue lagi drama di gereja jadi pohon ara. Di dalam kostum pohon. Terus tiba-tiba temen gue bilang, "Woi, ntar gue mau kenalin temen gue," gitu kan. Jadi pas kenalan tuh, halo, gue masih dalam kostum pohon.
oh ini gue udah tahu nih.
Iya, jadi masih di dalam kostum pohon gitu, halo. Udah itu hari pertama baru tahu nama, terus gue minta kontaknya, ngobrol-ngobrol, ketemuan sekali atau 2 kali, pacaran di hari ke-14, dan puji Tuhan sekarang kita sudah 13 tahun bersama.
Iya, berarti nggak relate ya Teo ya?
Mungkin karena mulainya early banget ya waktu itu ya, gue pacaran sama dia, umur berapa ya, 19 mungkin ya? 13 tahun? Iya 19 bener, 19. Tapi mungkin beda cerita kalau baru kenal di usia-usia sekarang kan.
Betul.
Nah, ini ada perbedaan nih, ada gap nih. Coba.
Gimana?
Oke, gue tuh merasanya ya, kalau di umur segini, nih gue umur 28 tahun nih. Di umur segini itu rata-rata orang sudah terbentuk istilahnya, kalau kayak lu pottery bikin tanah liat gitu ya.
Bukan zigot lagi lah.
Kalau lu kenalnya pas lagi kuliah, SMA, itu kan
Cari
kita
jati diri.
masih mencari jati
Pembentukan.
diri, masih dibentuk. Jadi kayak istilah kalau jadi tanah liat tuh belum keras gitu loh, masih bisa di mold jadi apa aja.
Jadi pas pacaran juga masih agak lembek-lembek aja gitu, belum.
Jadi kita bisa membentuk dan mencari jati diri bersama pasangan, apalagi kalau udah high school sweetheart gitu ya.
Iya, betul.
Jadi kayak grow bareng.
Iya.
Tapi kalau misalnya udah umur segini, rata-rata kan misalnya sesimpel yang tangible, kerjaan tuh udah settle biasanya.
Oke.
Udah jelas kerjaannya apa. Kalau dari kuliah kan kayak abis ini mau ngapain ya, abis lulus.
Masih nyari.
Oke. Terus tempat tinggal misalnya kayak udah ada kantor di sini. Kalau misalnya baru lulus kayak misalnya pasangannya orang daerah, bisa pindah mungkin.
Oh iya masih ada opsi itu.
Jadi level of flexibility-nya itu jauh lebih jauh lebih sedikit dibanding kalau masih muda gitu. Itu sih yang gue rasa, termasuk yang intangible tuh kayak values, worldview, perspectives in life gitu. Jadi kayak waktu udah umur segini tuh kayak udah agak saklek gitu. Dan gimana caranya di umur segini kita mencari pasangan yang kebetulan values-nya, nanti lifestyle-nya itu cocok sama kita yang udah agak fix gitu.
Berarti di usia-usia segini kita udah tahu mana yang negotiable, mana yang non-negotiable, dan otomatis ya makanya tadi bilang ya, pacaran mah gampang pacaran aja, tapi kan kalau kita mau ngomongin ke arah nikah nih habis pacaran,
betul,
kita kan jadi mikirnya banyak dan kita
pertimbangannya.
Mungkin sudah tidak ada luxury untuk wasting time katakanlah, ya nggak sih? Bukan karena usia tentunya, karena inflasi aja kelar, kan biaya nikah makin mahal makin tahun.
Terserah lo. Susahnya kenapa?
Ya susahnya kenapa? Karena values tadi. Yang lebih susah kalau jarak kan, ya kalau cinta kan jarak dimanapun dihajar. Ya kan, bener dong.
Apakah iya?
Enggak buat orang nggak suka nyetir kayak gua.
Oh gitu. Ya tapi kan diajarnya pakai Grab. Gitu.
Oh iya bisa
Gojek,
bener. Gue agree sih, berarti kita akan ngomongin masalah yang non-negotiable.
Iya.
Berarti hal yang tadi udah kebentuk dari dia masih belasan tahun sampai udah 20-an sekian atau 30-an, itu yang non-negotiable-nya.
Betul. Mungkin to answer Billy's question, kenapa susah? Mungkin waktu selama perjalanan mencari pasangan hidup ini juga, kalau berdasarkan personal experience gue dan yang mungkin teman-teman relate juga adalah kadang kita sendiri tuh juga nggak tahu yang non-negotiable mana, yang nice to have mana. Jadi kriterianya kayak panjang, tapi kita nggak tahu nih pas dicobain ternyata, yang kita pikir non-negotiable, ternyata kalau paketannya kayak gini ternyata nggak apa-apa deh, dia punya kelemahan ini. Atau yang tadinya kita pikir ya udah deh ini kita nego, soalnya dia misalnya ganteng banget atau kaya banget atau apa gitu. Terus tau kayak ternyata ini non-negotiable, ini penting banget buat gue dan nggak bisa kalau misalnya nggak ada kriteria ini. Gitu. Jadi menurut gue sebenarnya perjalanan mencari jodoh ini sangat relate dengan self-awareness, Teh. Ya,
seberapa lo kenal diri lu, jadi lu makin tahu mana yang bisa, mana yang enggak.
Betul. Tapi itu juga sebuah journey sebenarnya, nggak bisa dong lu dari lahir langsung tahu lu mau pasangannya kayak gimana.
Gue kemarin pernah nge-joke sama bini gue bilang, nikah tuh lucu ya. Nikah tuh sebenarnya kayak perjalanan dua orang aneh yang bertemu.
Iya.
Tapi tinggal lihat lu bisa tahan anehnya yang mana gitu. Aneh mana yang bearable buat lu.
Betul.
Dan masalahnya kalau orang misalnya baru berpacaran kan semuanya indah ya. Begitu nikah kan makin kenal setiap aspek segala macam. Makanya gue kemarin bercanda sama dia pakai kata terms aneh gitu. Jadi ternyata anehnya bearable nih. Baru bisa jalan. Nah itu pun butuh pengenalan bertahun-tahun. Nah tapi kan sekarang bahkan kita sering banget dengar standar TikTok.
Gue baru mau masuk situ.
Oke.
Apakah sosial media seperti TikTok mempengaruhi standar orang-orang dalam mencari jodoh akhirnya?
Standar TikTok itu.
Apa tuh standar
cowok-cowok
TikTok?
standar TikTok bare minimumnya itu setiap makan dibayarin. Setiap pergi diantar jemput, walaupun dari Bogor sampai BSD gitu ya.
Wow, ada temen gue yang begitu tapi nikah. Dan cepet nikah supaya jarak dekat.
Menghilangkan
untung nikah ya. Kalau investasi bensin bodong.
Nah, bensin tol tuh.
Terus misalnya dikasih bunga yang kayak gede banget gitu. Jadinya gue takutnya standar yang sebenarnya esensial itu tuh ketutup sama standar-standar yang atau ini shallow gitu.
Karena kita karena belum kenal diri kita. Karena kita nonton, kita jadi menganggap itu standarnya.
Betul. Dan itu bare minimum dan itu harus banget.
Iya, dan padahal belum tentu kayak mungkin aja siapa tahu gue cewek yang suka nyetir.
Betul.
Siapa tahu. Jadi sebenarnya dijemput nggak terlalu ngaruh atau apa kan nggak tahu ya.
Atau kalau misalnya nih, sesimpel kita pengen cowok yang cewek-cewek nih pengen cowok yang karirnya sukses. Berarti otomatis dia punya pekerjaan dong. Berarti dia akan sibuk dong. Kalau cowok yang sibuk biasanya mau efisien kan?
Betul.
Iya dong.
Itu gue banget.
Betul. Buat apa dia misalnya rumahnya di Bogor,
wah, itu
terus
saya banget.
jemput lu ke BSD, terus mainnya di Jakarta misalnya.
Bener.
Kenapa nggak ketemuan aja di tengah misalnya?
Iya.
Kenapa lu bilang excited?
Karena gue sangat gak suka nyetir.
Tapi gue nggak menyalahkan.
Sadar bahwa lu sudah menikah.
Oh iya benar.
Tapi gue nggak menyalahkan cewek-cewek yang punya standar ini ya. Mungkin emang ini esensial buat mereka. Tapi harus realistisnya, kalau misalnya punya standarnya cowok yang karirnya bagus, berarti kan otomatis itu two sides of the coin dong. Pasti dia sibuk gitu. Jadi kayak harus lihat kelebihannya itu biasanya jadi kelemahannya juga gitu, Teh.
Pokoknya maksudnya lu itu kan semua sepaket.
Sepaket.
Jangan lu mau
bener.
yang gue mau yang begini-begini, tapi lu harus tahu itu ada cost-nya.
Betul.
Kayak tadi lu bilang kayak gitu. Misalnya lu mau cowok apa? Katakanlah sekarang misalnya high value ya, entrepreneur lah or something ya. Itu kan lu harus tahu bahwa dia mungkin akan banyak pergi keluar kota, meeting sampai malam. Jadi lu nggak bisa teks semua yang lu mau. Lu mau dia sukses tapi lu mau semua waktu dia juga. Ya bisa, lu jadi PA-nya. Kayak bini gue, PA gue.
Betul. Atau personal experience, kok komentar gue pernah bilang gini, lu mau cowok yang nge-lead lu, elunya bisa di-lead nggak?
Nah itu make sense.
Nah ya kan, jadi harus lihat diri sendiri juga nih, kayak apakah kita adalah standar cowok yang jadi kriteria kita juga gitu.
Nah, ini realistis banget sih bener. Jadi sebetulnya dalam menentukan standar si jodoh tadi ini, kita pun harus kenal diri kita dulu dong. Supaya kita tahu paket yang pas seperti apa.
Sama ini sih Teh, you attract what you are, not what you want.
Jadi kalau kita pengen nih misalnya pengen cowok yang dekat sama Tuhan, tapi kita carinya di klub, kan udah jelas-jelas tidak matching.
Oh, biarpun sekarang di klub banyak yang dipakai jadi tempat ibadah juga.
Betul. Banyak roh kudus dan rokok kudus.
Iya gitu. Jadi
Iya,
kan
ngerti.
kenapa jadi susah cari jodoh ya karena begitu, nyarinya di tempat yang salah gitu. Atau
Ya,
misalnya
kayak lo mau bisnis apa kan ada target market, ada demografi ya.
betul.
Lo harus tahu demografinya juga.
Misalnya pengen cewek yang badannya bagus, nah tapi lo sendiri nggak pernah olahraga, terus couch potato, apakah bakal attract cewek kayak gitu kah? Kan you attract what you are gitu. Jadi kayak lihat lagi ke diri sendiri, apakah kita sudah jadi orang yang bakal mungkin atraktif untuk tipe pasangan yang kita mau.
Atau mungkin sadar value apa yang kita trade off sama apa yang kita mau lah ya.
Itu juga.
Karena kalau kayak tadi lu ngomong kan sebetulnya memang justru banyak sekali orang-orang yang coach potato ceweknya badannya bagus. Karena kan yang satu butuh hidup, yang satu butuh banyak. Maksud gue banyak.
Butuh hidup juga.
Iya, satu butuh hidup juga. Jadi trade off value. Tapi mungkin penasaran kali ya, kita masuk ke praktikal dikit. Nanti gue share gue juga ya. Kalau dari lu sendiri, sebetulnya paketan seperti apa nih yang lo kayak ini gitu, tipis-tipis aja nggak apa-apa.
Ya, nanti abis ini ada link form kan. Kita akan
siapa tahu pada bisa
jodohnya
daftar ya,
Clara
applicants
siapa.
ya. Kalau ke gue udah nggak bisa, ke Clara masih bisa loh.
Ya, masih bisa. Nanti kita kasih link kali ya tim ya di bawah ya, boleh.
Tuh.
Kok jadi gue sih jadi malu.
Tipis-tipis dong. Tipis-tipis dong.
Ini contoh misalnya.
Contoh value misalnya kayak tadi godly man or anything.
Iya, betul. Itu satu yang takut akan Tuhan ya.
Iya.
Bukan KTP doang ya, Kristen.
Nah, gimana tuh takut akan Tuhan tuh gimana?
Oke, kalau gue nih bisa dilihat dari mungkin decisions in life. Apakah gimana cara dia mengambil keputusan dalam hidup? Apakah consider that or not?
Iya. Dipakai nggak values-nya gitu ya?
Iya, betul.
Terus yang kedua apa, Kelar? Yang kedua. Nanti gue juga spill, gue biarpun gue udah nikah ya.
Iya, boleh.
Udah nih, tapi gue tetap akan share.
Yang kedua pinter.
Pinter tuh apa? Akademis kah? Jadi
Pinter aja sih, ini lumayan subjektif sih. Tapi kayak mungkin pinternya tuh IQ, EQ, SQ, semuanya.
Iya, kayak bahan gue jadi speaker tuh ya, IQ, SQ ya. Materi gue banget tuh.
Maksudnya jangan satu doang mentok kayak IQ-nya pinter banget tapi nggak bisa membawa diri gitu.
Iya, emosional, value sama
sosialnya juga.
Kognitif.
Betul.
Wow. Lumayan paketan Anda ya. Berikutnya apa lagi, Kelar? 3 deh, 3. Abis ini gue share juga 3.
Yang ketiga mungkin karena lifestyle gue lumayan aktif ya. Jadi kayak mungkin olahraga minimal 2-3 kali seminggu. Terus pilih makan yang lebih sehat juga kali ya.
Iya, kalau jomplang banget misalnya nggak suka olahraga, ketemu lu yang aktif olahraga,
takutnya nggak nyambung lifestyle-nya.
setengah mati juga dia. Mau tiba-tiba maksa lu suka lari ya, langsung lari kan?
Ya nggak harus lari tapi apa aja.
Bisa langsung. Mungkin baik lagi ya, karena gue orang yang being entrepreneur dan ambisius. Gue sadar betul gue butuh cewek yang simple. Simple tuh dalam artian segala decision yang dia ambil bisa mensupport gue menaikkan taraf hidup bersama dia. Jadi nggak bikin gue pusing dalam setiap project baru. Percaya sama gue ketika gue mau ngambil langkah baru. Dan itu ya bini gue modelannya kayak gitu tuh. Dia very simple. Jadi mungkin dia udah tahu, oh menurut gue lu capable, ya udah apapun yang lakukan gue support. Tapi trade off-nya yang gue kasih ke dia supaya fair adalah setiap ada keberhasilan yang bertambah, gue bikin hidupnya tambah enak. Jadi relasi gue sama dia tuh kurvanya begini. Makin lama hidup lu makin enak. Dulu belanja mikir, sekarang nggak mikir. Dulu liburan mikir, sekarang nggak mikir gitu. Tapi itu gue ngerasa lu worth it kayak gitu. Kenapa? Karena di dalam prosesnya lu support gue dan membuat gue semakin enteng untuk melangkah.
Oke.
Gitu.
Gimana? Udah? Belum?
Itu satu tuh baru. Baru satu.
Kepo nih udah mau nanya.
Iya kan. Yang kedua itu, gue itu orang yang berusaha jaga badan lah. Jadi gue juga tetap expect sama dia kalau misalnya kita belum punya baby atau apapun, sama-sama yuk kita jadi the best version of ourselves. Kita olahraga, makan, kita sesekali tetap jaga, keep in shape aja lah. Karena nggak bohong, gue akan ngomong ke dia bahwa visual matters a lot buat cowok.
Iya.
Gitu.
Betul.
Yang ketiga apa ya? Yang ketiga itu mungkin gue itu orang yang suka recharge me time. Nah tapi ini gue nggak sengaja, cocoknya sama dia tuh nggak sengaja. Jadi gue baru tahu ternyata dia tuh orang yang butuh me time sendirian untuk quality time dia. Jadi enak banget kalau kita udah capek kerja, ngobrol-ngobrol, abis itu gue baca komik, dia baca komik. Jadi itu dia tenang, gue tenang, ketemu lagi, hai, udah tidur. Jadi kalau buat orang kayak gue yang, lu tau lah aktivitas gue pontang-panting dan gue orang yang ambisius, kayak nggak pernah stop, gue selalu nambah terus apa yang gue kerjain. Nah, gue butuh yang kayak gitu tuh.
Oke.
Gitu.
Nah, sebagai manusia single di sini dan ini yang udah menikah, berarti udah sukses mencari pasangan hidupnya ya. At least udah nikah gitu ya.
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 Amin.
Gimana cara tahu kalau orang yang lagi kita temui itu sesuai nih sama kriteria kita, atau in your case berarti Dita itu fits that criteria?
Betul. Kalau gue nggak bisa valid ngomong ini, karena gue kenalan sama dia itu 13 hari. Yang gue checklist itu cuman trauma dari masa lalu. Yang pertama, emaknya kayak mantan gue nggak yang bisa tiba-tiba suruh anak orang putus? Oh enggak, emaknya baik, checklist. Yang tadi bukannya jahat ya, tapi approach orang tua berbeda. Enggak. Yang kedua, yang gue cek langsung gue realistis. Gue kejadian yang dulu
banget dong. Ya ini gue lagi ngerjain sesuatu ya sambil dengerin YouTube ya. Ya kebetulan YouTube-nya apapun yang gue lagi pengen yang menurut gue menarik, judulnya gue klik aja gitu kan. Jadi ya anggap aja kayak radio lah kayak gitu.
Dulu putus karena ekonominya senjang banget. Ini jauh banget nggak? Ternyata enggak nih, masih oke-oke aja. Karena
ini penting nih.
Karena gue waktu kuliah juga kan sudah menghasilkan uang sendiri, bayar kuliah sendiri. Terus yang ketiga, yaitu dia orang yang oke nggak berada di lingkungan gereja dalam jangka waktu yang panjang. Oh, ternyata oke juga, mau juga dia bertumbuh di situ. Kalau buat gue yang dulu itu udah cukup, ya udah jalan aja dulu. Tapi itu semua setelah visualnya cocok sama mata gue. Cowok balik lagi.
80%
Ini cakep ya.
Iya.
Ternyata dari semua diskusi panjang ini kayak Cidita cantik gitu. Selesai.
Ini pertanyaan nih.
Iya.
Menurut kalian, jodoh itu di tangan Tuhan?
Waduh.
Tuhan sudah siapkan? Atau kalian harus cari?
Berat loh.
Siapa gue dulu deh. Kalau menurut gue itu pemilihan siapa jodohnya itu di tangan kita. Tapi Tuhan udah kasih aturan mainnya. Kalau di agama gua sudah ditulis kan, carilah yang setara, sepadan, dan seiman. Setara, sepadan, seiman menurut gua udah eliminate banyak problem. Dengan sepadan itu berarti lo apa? Mungkin nggak jomplang dari yang tadi gua omongin tuh semua. Maka fluktuatifnya akan sedikit. Insecure-nya nggak bakal berlebihan. Dominance untuk nginjek orangnya juga nggak bakal berlebihan.
Aspeknya apa aja nih aspeknya yang tadi?
Mungkin very simple, biasa kalau cowok kan apa? Karir lah, income lah. Income jauh juga biasanya jadi problem. Cuman uniknya kalau cowok income-nya jauh dari cewek biasanya ideal. Tapi kalau ceweknya income-nya jauh di atas cowok biasanya problem.
Soalnya cewek spendingnya gede.
Nggak tahu, ini
Kan income-nya gede, spendingnya gede. Jadi
kecuali papanya
balance.
cewek lebih kaya lagi daripada.
Nah, mungkin subsidinya ya mungkin subsidinya begitu ya.
Iya.
Terus yang pemikiran juga kenapa harus setara gitu ya dan sepadan, karena kita ngobrol. Kita ngobrol all the time sampai kita tua. Kalau kita ngobrol nggak connect, udah pasti kita akan cari yang connect. Dan itu tidak baik gitu ya.
Takut banget.
Dalam jangka panjang.
Iya, betul.
Iya kan? Yang ketiga, seiman mungkin lebih ngebatasin kita punya pondasi value supaya jangan terlalu berseberangan.
Nah, ini jadi mengingatkan gue sama sebuah teori yang pernah gue lihat di internet.
Apa ini?
Ini namanya SMV. SMV. Gue pernah cerita ke Theo juga. Namanya Sexual Market Value. Basically ini adalah level of attractiveness on a scale of 1 to 10. Seberapa atraktif satu wanita atau pria di mata dating pool ya, di market di dating pool.
Apa aja tuh kriteria?
Nah, itu ada banyak. Sebenarnya ini ada teori, bisa Google guys. Ada.
Ini ditampilin lah teorinya.
Iya, ting gitu ya nih. Jadi ada faktornya tuh resource alias punya duit berapa kali ya. Nah, tapi ini persentasenya beda-beda buat cewek dan cowok. Buat cowok ini paling gede kalau nggak salah. Nomor 1 resource. Kedua kalau nggak salah status. Terus ada physical appearance, ada game. Kalau cowok game tuh kayak jago deketin cewek apa enggak. Kalau misalnya ini aspeknya semua lu mentok, lu kayak culun deketin cewek juga nggak apa-apa, biasanya acceptable gitu. Jadi kayak ini tuh kombinasi dari each of the aspek tuh weightnya berapa gitu. Jadi ada beda-beda.
Market value dong ya.
Betul.
Jadi kayak misalnya kalau yang pertama, nih orang income-nya gede nih kayaknya, karirnya sukses. Wah, ini udah pondasinya udah mantep gitu. Terus diplusin mungkin ganteng lagi. Mungkin plusnya apa lagi gitu ya.
Nah, buat cewek kalau nggak salah yang paling gede ini persentasenya tuh physical appearance kalau nggak salah. Sama umur. Sama umur.
Buat cewek atau buat
cewek? Buat cewek.
Buat
kalau
cowok
buat cowok
ngeliat cewek.
Oke, buat cowok ngeliat cewek.
Iya, kalau buat SMV-nya cowok di mata cewek-cewek itu rata-rata resource nomor 1.
Berarti bener dong tadi gue bercanda 80% visual.
Betul.
Ada research ya, bener. Ada research ya.
Dia karirnya bagus, bisnisnya bagus, terus misalnya tampangnya oke, terus misalnya statusnya oke, berarti tadi yang keempat game itu lebih kayak ya udah deh lu nggak ngerti deketin cewek biarin deh, tapi ibaratnya secara paket udah mantep gitu.
Iya, ada beberapa faktor lagi gue lupa, nanti ada ting di sini.
Wah, ini bisa jadi another.
Nah, ini tuh berhubungan sama yang tadi lu bilang sepadan, Teh. Karena ini menurut teorinya ya, gue nggak tahu bener apa enggak dan pasti banyak outlier. Katanya misalnya SMV-nya nih orang 9 gitu ya. Jadi kayak menurut banyak orang harusnya misalnya cewek ini tuh 9, gak bakal ada orang yang sampai bilang dia tuh 3. Jadi kayak paling orang bilang dia 9, 8, 7. Jadi kayak pokoknya
dikit.
Iya, dia punya range tuh segitu. Dan biasanya orang-orang yang 9 ini nggak mungkin dong dapat pasangan yang 3 gitu.
Oh, ngerti.
Begitu. Jadi sepadannya tuh in that level gitu kali ya. Nah,
untuk market PDKT itu ibaratnya.
Untuk PDKT. Jadi itu tuh cuman mungkin kalau kayak bisnis tuh kayak upper funnel gitu kan. Untuk di depannya doang, untuk bisa get into the first date, orang itu mau kenal sama lu, SMP-nya biasanya mirip-mirip lah, kayak beda 2 sampai 3 poin gitu.
Iya, kebayang.
Jadi, ini kan teorinya teman gue bawa nih. Terus kita semua tuh debatin kayak enggak lah, SMP tuh subjektif. Ada kok yang menurut gue 3, menurut lu 9. Oke lah, tapi gak apa-apa. Jadi kesimpulannya, SMP itu adalah average score-nya. Dari walaupun itu diverse banget nih angkanya.
Kalau boleh tahu lu sering dapat skor berapa, Klar?
Mana gue tahu.
Oh, kan teman-teman lu ngomong siapa tahu.
Itu sesuatu yang katanya dinilainya tuh ya gak boleh kedengeran orangnya lah, gak enak lah ya. Kan harus totally honest, gak boleh gak enak. Kalau kenal biasanya kita gak enak lah skor.
Iya. 9,5 lah Clara mah ya, teman-teman ya.
Iya, ini bisa jadi standar baru dong.
Ini intermezzo
bukan
aja.
Bukan TikTok ya, standar Clara.
Ini intermezzo aja, soalnya ini kayak bahasan lucu yang selalu ada di kalangan teman-teman gue.
Ini membantu lah untuk upper funnel tadi ya.
Oke, ini pertanyaan terakhir kali ya. Karena tim bilang waktunya udah lumayan panjang.
Wow, oke.
Ini pertanyaan, sekarang kan kita hidup di era yang semua serba aplikasi digital. Ada yang namanya dating app. Nah, kenapa cari jodoh tetap susah dengan adanya dating app di mana-mana, akses di mana-mana? Apakah memang semakin banyak pilihan, kita semakin banyak mau dan semakin susah malah gitu?
Sebenarnya ini nyambung Teh, kan tadi upper funnel nih. Kalau dating app itu buat upper funnel SMV, kayak kan kita yang bisa kita lihat cuma looks, pekerjaannya apa, umur berapa gitu kan. Jadi baru swipe left, swipe right gitu kan. Nah, tapi memang dating game itu menurut gue tidak sesimpel SMV-nya berapa. Kalau lu SMV tinggi pasti gampang cari jodoh. Gak begitu, karena next levelnya ada middle funnel, lower funnelnya buat conversion ya. Itu
ngomongin marketing.
Kalau values-nya cocok, personality-nya cocok, pas akhirnya diketemuin kayak ternyata kita nih want the same things in life, kayak goal hidupnya sama, atau kayak misalnya yang suka happy doang juga sama-sama suka happy doang, nggak jomplang gitu ya. Ngerti. Begitu.
Oke. Jadi dating app tadi juga sebenarnya sama kayak SMV, membantu di upper funnel aja ya.
Iya betul. Sebenarnya kalau dari gua key takeaway-nya, kalau dari tadi ngobrol ngalor ngidul lumayan entertaining ya, tapi key takeaway dari gua sih, walaupun gua masih in the process, tapi gua merasa dating itu is all about knowing yourself juga deh. Jadi kalau self awareness-nya belum terasah, mungkin itu yang gue alami juga, makanya masih single sampai sekarang. Jadi kayak pertama get to know yourself dulu, lu tuh orangnya kayak gimana, butuhnya pasangannya seperti apa, baru ya gitu deh Teh.
Tapi ini valid. Gue ngeliatin Clara justru kenapa dia masih dalam proses, karena dia cukup mengenal dirinya, teman-teman.
Lagi di proses lah ya.
Iya, jadi bener-bener nggak random, tapi tahu nih nggak wasting energy dan wasting time juga. So buat teman-teman yang udah nggak dapet waktunya Clara, jangan pada baper. Dan see you di next episode.
Cheers.
Kita cheers ya? Kita cheers.
Gue yakin di banyak daerah pacaran ini tuh udah jadi bagian dari gaya hidup banyak orang. Dan alasan mereka ngelakuin pacaran itu gak jauh-jauh dari support system ataupun biar hidupnya tuh gak kesepian. Dan supaya hubungannya kelihatan seru, terkadang salah satu dari mereka tuh rela ngeluarin duit demi banyak hal. Entah itu buat dinner, ngasih bunga, tukeran hadiah, atau sampai liburan bareng. Semua itu jadi semacam standar gak tertulis yang bikin orang tuh ngerasa harus diikutin biar hubungan mereka tuh dianggap normal. Belum lagi, ada juga ekspektasi sosial nempel banget ketika lagi pacaran, dimana lu ini pengen banget hubungan lu kelihatan ideal, atau kadang cuma pengen gak kalah gitu sama pasangan orang lain yang kelihatannya tuh romantis. Dan rata-rata, tekanan sosial ini datang dari standar media sosial, yang kebanyakan tuh nampilin hubungan-hubungan yang kelihatannya tuh estetik. Terus juga pacaran ini kan pasti ngelibatin emosional ya. Tapi sayangnya kebutuhan emosional ini ternyata sering dibungkus sama kata romantisme. Ya coba deh, lu lihat aja gitu, konten-konten di Instagram ataupun di TikTok. Dimana mereka meromantisasi kalau cinta itu datangnya dari cuma lewat uang doang. Ini jadinya ngebuat salah satu dari pasangan wajib kasih gift ataupun wajib traktirin pasangan ya, sekalipun kondisi ekonominya itu lagi pas-pasan. Dan kalau lu nggak ngelakuin hal-hal kayak gitu, kadang mereka tuh bisa ngecap lu sebagai mokondo dan gak cukup romantis. Alhasil banyak orang tuh terlalu maksain buat fancy dinner ataupun maksain traktir di tempat yang mahal. Dan ini bikin pengeluaran mereka tuh tentunya jadi naik terus ya kan. Dan tentunya ini jadi pertanyaan, kira-kira kenapa sih cinta itu khususnya pacaran ya, itu identik sama menurunnya kondisi finansial? Nah makanya di video kali ini, gue mau bahas kenapa pacaran malah bikin banyak orang makin miskin. So, disimak sampai habis. Salah satu hal yang bikin orang makin miskin setelah pacaran itu disebabkan karena emotional spending. Jadi gampangnya gini, emotional spending ini adalah kondisi di mana lu tuh ngeluarin uang bukan karena butuh, tapi karena lagi terdorong sama emosi tertentu. Entah itu rasa takut kehilangan, rasa kepengen nyenengin pacar, pengen dianggap mampu, atau cuma buat nutupin insecure dalam suatu hubungan. Jadi akhirnya, keputusan finansial yang harusnya rasional, ini malah diganti sama keputusan impulsif yang tujuannya memuaskan perasaan sesaat doang. Contohnya nih ya, gue pernah ngeliat temen gue sendiri rela ngeluarin uang duit belasan juta buat beli HP ke pasangannya supaya nggak berantem lagi. Dari sini sih ceweknya muluk-muluk dibeliin HP baru cuma karena pengen kelihatan kapelan aja. Padahal faktanya, temen gue ini baru aja gajinya turun setelah sekian lama dan rencananya duit itu emang targetnya buat ditaruh deposito. Tapi ya balik lagi, kalau udah emotional spending, pasti niatnya cuma pengen bikin pasangannya tuh seneng doang dan emosi tersebut terpuaskan. Terus juga nih ya, ada satu hal yang jarang disadarin orang, yaitu hedonic treadmill. Ini tuh konsep psikologi yang ngejelasin kenapa manusia gampang banget kebiasa sama hal-hal yang enak dan setelah kebiasaan itu kebentuk, itu susah banget buat turun level lagi. Misalnya gini, awal pacaran kalian cuma makan soto pinggir jalan dan itu udah bikin seneng. Tapi begitu suatu hari mulai coba dinner di restoran yang lebih mahal, lama-lama standar kesenangannya tuh jadi naik. Yang tadinya makan di warung sederhana udah cukup, sekarang jadi ngerasa kurang. Atau yang tadinya ngobrol berdua di taman kerasanya udah bikin seneng, sekarang jadi ngerasa kayaknya butuh cafe yang estetik biar vibes-nya itu lebih dapat gitu. Nah, kebiasaan ini tuh pelan-pelan bikin pola pengeluaran jadi makin bengkak. Bukan karena kebutuhan ya, tapi karena udah kebentuk standar kenyamanan yang baru. Jadi misal awalnya makan di luar cuma sebulan sekali, tiba-tiba berubah jadi seminggu sekali. Terus lama-lama jadi wajib setiap kali ketemu. Begitu udah kebiasaan, mau balik makan di rumah pun ya kerasanya gak seru gitu, atau gak romantis. Padahal kalau dipikir-pikir, itu tuh cuma persepsi doang. Yang mana itu dibentuk dari rutinitas yang keburu jadi normal dalam hubungan. Esensi pacaran di sini tuh bener-bener hilang banget. Karena pada dasarnya, inti dari sebuah hubungan itu bukan dari seberapa mahal tempat lu datengin, tapi hubungan yang bagus itu justru kalau lu bisa tumbuh bareng dari komunikasi yang bagus, saling percaya, dan justru kalian bisa jadi orang yang punya added value yang lebih karena ada support system. Jadi kalau semisal uang udah jadi indikator utama romantisme, hubungan lu udah pasti rentan banget. Karena kalau duit lu lagi seret dan gak bisa menuhin ego pasangan lu karena kebiasaan tadi, ya lu bakalan dianggap gak sayang. Hal lain yang bikin orang makin miskin setelah pacaran itu disebabkan oleh gender expectation. Jadi maksudnya gini, dalam hubungan itu masih ada banyak ekspektasi peran antara cowok dan cewek. Ya tanpa sadar, ini bikin salah satu pihak jadi penanggung biaya. Hal ini tuh sebenarnya udah terbentuk gitu dari budaya dan standar sosial, di mana pihak laki-laki harus terlihat mampu, dan sementara perempuan harus terlihat cantik dan terawat. Sekilas sih emang gak ada yang terlihat aneh ya, karena wajarnya memang harus seperti itu. Tapi yang jadi kesalahan fatal, ekspektasi itu sering berubah jadi tekanan finansial. Contohnya gini, di satu sisi, cowok sering dapat tekanan buat selalu jadi pihak yang traktir ceweknya. Karena ada standar gak tertulis, kalau cowok gentle itu harus bisa provide semua kebutuhan pasangannya. Entah itu bayar makan, nonton, bensin, sampai hal-hal kecil kayak bayar kopi pas jalan berdua. Makanya pendapat kayak gini tuh sering jadi kontroversi di media sosial, dimana ada yang bilang ini tuh adalah bare minimum cowok. Sementara ada yang bilang juga kalau tugas cowok itu bukan bayarin biaya hidup ceweknya. Konflik kayak gini tuh bahkan ngelebar jadi kemana-mana, sampai ada yang netapin standar kalau cowok nggak traktir berarti dia gak serius. Makanya terkadang tekanan kayak gini tuh bikin cowok akhirnya ngeluarin banyak uang yang ngelebihin kemampuan aslinya dia. Tujuannya yaitu cuma buat menuin image kalau dia itu adalah pasangan yang layak. Nah tapi nih ya, di sisi lain, bukan berarti cewek juga aman secara finansial. Cewek itu sebenarnya juga punya tekanan yang beratnya tuh ngelebihin cowok. Mereka tuh sering banget dituntut buat selalu tampil cantik setiap ketemu. Yang berarti, perempuan tuh harus keluar duit buat skincare, make up, beli outfit baru, atau hal-hal kecil lain yang kalau ditotal bisa lebih mahal daripada biaya ngedate itu sendiri. Belum lagi kalau pacarnya suka komplain soal penampilan, ya modalnya juga pasti gak kecil ya kan. Nah selain itu, sekarang banyak juga hubungan yang lebih modern, di mana cewek ikut bayar atau gantian traktir. Nah tapi ironis ya, ekspektasi lama ini tuh masih tetap nempel. Gampang gini deh, kalau setiap ngeliat si ceweknya split bill terus, nanti cewek dianggap terlalu independen. Tapi kalau cowok nggak pernah traktir selama pacaran, pasti dia dianggap dengan istilah mokondo. Artinya apa? Ya dua-duanya sama-sama saling stres dan sama-sama keluar duit. Belum lagi ada kondisi di mana justru ceweknya ini jadi kayak ATM berjalan. Kasus ini tuh sering banget ya gue liat di platform X atau di TikTok, di mana si ceweknya ini diperes sama cowoknya dengan alasan karena kondisi ekonominya tuh lagi susah, ataupun ya si cowoknya ini lagi nganggur. Nah karena banyak cewek yang buta karena cinta dan ngerasa nggak enakan, akhirnya mereka sering traktir atau bantu biaya ini itu. Tekanan emosional kayak gini juga termasuk bentuk gender exploitation, cuma arahnya lebih halus gitu. Intinya sih ya, gender exploitation ini bikin hubungan jadi kayak ajang pembuktian siapa yang paling berusaha. Cowok harus terlihat mampu, dan si cewek harus terlihat menarik. Padahal kalau dua-duanya ini adalah pasangan yang berniat buat menikah, justru harusnya nggak boleh ada ajang pembuktian siapa yang paling effort di atas hubungan mereka. Toh saat nanti keduanya nikah juga, ya dua-duanya sama-sama butuh uang ya kan, buat nunjang kehidupan rumah tangga mereka. Dan selama standar ini masih jadi tolak ukur pas pacaran, takutnya orang jadi ngeluarin uang bukan karena mau, tapi karena takut kelihatan kurang dan takut gagal memenuhi peran yang dianggap ideal. Dari video yang udah gue bahas tadi, sebenarnya masalah besar itu bukan berada di pacarannya, tapi salah dari pacarannya yang lebih fokus ke gengsi validasi sosial dibandingkan pembentukan kedewasaan masing-masing pasangan. Ya kayak yang tadi lu lihat tuh, sampai ada orang yang sebenarnya itu bukan pacaran, tapi cuma berlomba-lomba jadi couple goals versi internet. Dan yang ironis ya, kadang mereka tuh lebih mikirin penilaian orang luar daripada kondisi dompet sendiri. Jadinya ya, uang itu habis buat hal-hal konyol, yang mana itu gak ada manfaat buat hubungan jangka panjang. Padahal kalau dipikir-pikir ya, pacaran itu harusnya jadi tempat buat lu belajar gimana lu ngatur emosi, gimana lu komunikasi, gimana lu ngehargain pasangan tanpa harus ngerusak diri sendiri. Simpelnya sih kalau lu pacaran sampai bikin lu stres secara finansial, itu namanya bukan cinta, tapi itu tanda ada yang salah sama cara lu ngejalanin hubungan. Dan siangnya kebanyakan orang tuh baru sadar setelah mereka tuh putus dan tabungannya keburu habis duluan. Ironis banget ya kan? Udahlah uang hilang, pasangan lu ikut hilang juga. Gini aja deh, semisal dari awal lu harus ngorbanin kestabilan keuangan, gimana nanti kalau nikah ya kan? Masa iya lu mau bangun rumah tangga dari hubungan yang udah goyah sejak pacaran, cuma gara-gara ngejar standar yang sebenarnya tuh nggak punya nilai? Makanya nih, lu harus tahu gitu, bedanya kebutuhan hubungan sama nafsu buat kelihatan romantis, supaya hubungan itu jadi sehat dan ngasih benefit bagus buat kalian sendiri. Karena pada akhirnya, cinta tanpa logika itu bukan romantis, tapi hal yang nekat. Coba, kalau menurut lu, kenapa pacaran malah bikin banyak orang itu jadi miskin gitu? Coba tulis di kolom komen. Well, sekian dulu pembahasan kali ini, semoga bermanfaat, dan sampai jumpa di segmen selanjutnya.
This episode is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Go to cardkingdom.com/studies to.
Selamat malam pemirsa, Anda kembali menyaksikan HAM dalam Derita.
Kat, salah berita.
Berita ya? Oke, berita. Ya. Selamat malam pemirsa, Anda kembali menyaksikan HAM dalam Berita. Rangkuman peristiwa hak asasi manusia sepanjang tahun 2025. Tahun yang gimana ya Pak Firdian? Kalau diibaratkan cuaca mungkin bukan cuma mendung, tapi sudah halilintar, geledek, dor, dan bahkan badai. Semuanya jadi satu.
Jujur, badai banget emang. Bahkan saking berantakannya cuaca, Bu Filsa. Aplikasi BMKG pun mungkin bingung ya, mau ngasih peringatan apa. Udah mah dipotong anggarannya jadi bingung juga dia ngasih peringatan apa. Makanya dari perspektif HAM, ini kayaknya tahun yang sangat kelam.
Iya, sepanjang tahun kita menyaksikan berbagai kejadian yang menguji demokrasi, akal sehat, dan kadang-kadang kesabaran kita juga nih. Bener
Selalu
kan?
sabar, pahala terus mengalir.
Iya, jadi sebagai pembawa berita yang baik, kita akan menyampaikan semua rangkaiannya secara objektif, runut, tapi mungkin agak komedi juga ya.
Iya,
gitu.
cobain komedi lah ya.
Benar, supaya nggak stres-stres banget. Kalau terlalu serius gitu, kita bukannya tercerahkan nih penontonnya, tapi malah ngasih job untuk psikolog gitu, karena kliennya malah bertambah.
Malah ngantri ya.
Makanya,
benar. Boleh Bu, tapi jokes humornya tipis-tipis aja. Soalnya kalau terlalu kocak, ntar kita ngambil tugas pejabat-pejabat kita lagi.
Iya, benar. Bukannya emang nggak cukup ya Pak Firdian? Udah banyak jabatan yang dikasih ke anak sendiri, menantu sendiri, ke yang
kan kalau kata
waduh.
Kan kata Pak Presiden titip 1-2 orang nggak apa-apa, kata Pak Presiden gitu.
Iya makanya. Oke, mungkin kita bisa mulai saja berita ini dengan perkenalan. Kata orang tak kenal maka tak apa-apa juga, karena nggak ada yang memaksa gitu ya.
Juga.
Tapi supaya pesannya sampai mungkin harus akrab sedikit. Halo semuanya sobat lingkungan, aku adalah Filza, juru kampanye laut Greenpeace Indonesia, dan ini adalah rekan saya.
Halo, aku Firdian ya. teman-teman sobat lingkungan, perwakilan generasi selanjutnya yang selalu kalian remehkan, dibilang stroberi, dibilang apatis, kufur nikmat ya. Tapi kami menerima dampak langsung dari kerusakan alam, moral, politik, dan birokrasi dari generasi-generasi sebelumnya yang tutup kuping terus kalau dikasih kritik sama generasi yang saat ini Gen Z gitu ya. Sampai kita ini ngomongnya kan.
Sabar Pak Firdian, masih lama ini. Karena kita akan membahas peristiwa dari tahun 2025 dari bulan Januari sampai Desember. Jadi kita harus pelan-pelan, harus sabar karena beritanya memang banyak yang membagongkan.
Iya.
Oke, mungkin kita bisa mulai dari Q1 dulu Pak Firdian dari bulan Januari dan Maret, lalu nanti saya akan bahas dari Q2 April sampai Juni.
Cap. Bismillah, aman ya. Kita mulai dari Januari, Bu Filsa.
Ya.
Bulan harapan yang langsung dipatahkan negara. Baru liburan langsung dibikin kecewa. TNI diterjunkan untuk mengamankan proyek Rempang Eco City. Padahal menurut koalisi masyarakat sipil seperti Imparsial, YLBHI, dan Kontras bilang kalau militer tidak boleh dipakai untuk menggusur warga.
Oke, ini negara warganya baru healing dan tahun baru aja mulai tapi malah dibikin pusing.
Iya itu dia. Masih di Januari, peneliti ICW Diki Anandia kena doxing setelah lembaganya kritik kebijakan pemerintah. Data pribadi, foto, ancaman keselamatannya disebar sampai ICW dan tim advokasi untuk demokrasi lapor ke Bareskrim. Mereka minta Polri mengusut bukan cuma pelaku lapangan tapi juga aktor intelektualnya karena ini bentuk teror digital ke masyarakat sipil. Tapi percuma ya lapor polisi, nggak tahu juga sih ya.
Iya. Lagi pula dikritik bukannya nyari solusi tapi malah nyari alamat.
Waduh, bener nih kayak lagunya Ayu Ting Ting ya. Berikutnya adalah bulan Februari. Dibuka dengan kasus pembunuhan perempuan berinisial N oleh prajurit aktif TNI Yonif 318 yang ternyata sudah disersi sejak 19 Januari. Kontras meminta sidang dilakukan di peradilan umum biar transparan, bukan di peradilan militer yang publiknya terbatas. Ini menambah daftar panjang kekerasan aparat ke warga sipil yang terus berulang tanpa reformasi yang nyata. Saking panjang daftarnya, jalan panjang pun bisa jadi kalah panjang gitu kayaknya.
Waduh, jalan panjang, Mogot dan Mogot.
Waduh, nggak jalan dong Mogot. Maaf ya, ini bapak-bapak banget ya menjokes. Lanjut ke berita selanjutnya. Koalisi Masyarakat Sipil merilis peringatan penjahat HAM jadi pejabat setelah ex-anggota tim Mawar masuk posisi strategis pemerintahan. Ini merujuk langsung ke kasus penculikan aktivis 1998 dan publik khawatir ini melemahkan reformasi sektor keamanan. Pasal 28 UUD 1945 bahkan mewajibkan negara menghormati hak asasi manusia. Tapi kok yang rekam jejaknya kelam malah dikasih kursi.
Waduh, Pak Firdian, aku suka penasaran deh. Sebetulnya kenapa sih namanya itu tim Mawar? Ya kan, Mawar kan harusnya bagus, cantik, harum gitu ya.
Iya sih Bu, tapi jangan lupa Mawar tuh kan ada durinya. Salah-salah kita kan bisa berdarah kan.
Oh iya, benar juga. Nah, makanya itu jangan sembarangan kalau misalnya megang Mawar.
Kenapa
karena
tuh?
nggak semua Mawar bisa dipegang.
Aduh, ini
Contohnya aja dulu ada Mawar yang sekarang sih udah menjadi gajah.
Oh, aduh.
Tandanya
gajah.
sih suka pelin-pelan.
Benar, 3 hari jadi ketua umum ya.
Iya kan, nggak bisa dipegang.
Nggak bisa dipegang, benar.
Gajah!
Aksi mahasiswa bertajuk Indonesia Gelap memprotes revisi Undang-Undang TNI. Tapi Presiden Prabowo menuding aksi itu dibiayai koruptor yang dikejar hukum atau bahkan antek-antek asing, katanya gitu. Tudingan ini memicu polemik karena dianggap mendelegitimasi suara kritis tanpa bukti terbuka, nggak pernah disebut siapa itu asing kan. Teman-teman langsung bilang beli cat aja kita pakai patungan masih bisa-bisa dibilang hitungnya koruptor kan.
Iya, giliran kritik selalu dianggap bayaran. Tapi bener Pak Firdian, yang gratis biasanya cuma bansos kalau ada foto anaknya.
Oh iya.
Bansos kalau ada foto cucunya.
Benar.
Iya.
Beras yang ditanggul juga itu ya.
Oh iya.
Benar.
Itu aja yang gratisan.
Iya.
Sisanya bayar.
Betul. Bulan Maret ini jadi bulan paling gelap kayaknya nih. sobat lingkungan. Ada 1, 2, 3, buset pokoknya banyak banget peristiwa, 6 lah totalnya. Ini wajib konsentrasi penuh ya sobat lingkungan. Oke, yang pertama di 16 Maret. Kontras dan koalisi masyarakat sipil menggedor pintu rapat Panja RUU TNI di Hotel Fairmont.
Woi, Anda mendorong. Teman-teman, bagaimana kita kemudian hari ini direpresif? Kami menjalankan fungsi pengawasan sebagai masyarakat sipil. Kami menolak adanya pembahasan di dalam. Kami menolak adanya fungsi APRI, teman-teman. Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, yang katanya ingin...
Aksi ini bikin ricuh kecil lah ya dengan keamanan, tapi pesannya besar dan jelas. Legislasi jangan disusun di tempat yang lebih mahal dari gajinya rakyat. Gak bisa kita UMR di situ kan?
Iya, udah jelas. Lagi pula katanya lagi efisiensi anggaran, tapi kok malah ke hotel bintang 5 sih? Atau bintang 6 ya itu? Iya. Kalau lagi hemat yang jelas dong, jangan ke hotel. Camping aja, camping.
Bener, minimal ke warkop lah ya, gak usah di hotel gitu. Kan kita ngomong politik juga bisa di warkop. Kontras merilis pernyataan soal 2 kasus penembakan mati oleh polisi di Minahasa Tenggara dan Asahan. Mereka menyebut praktik pembunuhan di luar hukum ini terus berulang karena tidak ada evaluasi serius terhadap penggunaan senjata oleh aparat. Hak hidup dilanggar tanpa proses pengadilan. Dan publik hanya bisa baca berita tanpa tahu siapa yang bertanggung jawab. Kayaknya satu-satunya yang bener cepet di negeri ini tuh bukan penegakan hukumnya, tapi lupanya. Kalau urusan lupa emang gampang kita, kecuali lupain mantan memang agak susah ya.
Oke, Mas, jangan curcol.
Oh iya,
kita lagi bekerja.
Maaf. Betul. Maret juga jadi bulan disahkannya RUU TNI yang penuh kontroversi. Banyak pasal dinilai memperluas peran militer ke ranah sipil, sehingga batas sipil militer jadi makin kabur. Prosesnya cepat, tertutup, dan dikhawatirkan melahirkan berbagai pelanggaran HAM yang baru.
Oke, aku inget deh ini pembahasannya. UU yang dibikinnya cepet banget kayak Indomie itu bukan?
Indomie?
Karena instan.
Iya.
Sorry, kelihatan umurnya.
Indomie sama Wapres mirip-mirip ya.
Iya,
instan.
benar.
Maret ditutup teror ke kantor Tempo. Paket berisi kepala babi dan 6 bangkai tikus ditunjukkan kepada jurnalis Francisca Christy Rosana. Aji bilang kondisi pers kita memang nggak baik-baik aja, bahkan mirip era gelap Orde Baru. Teror ini jelas upaya membungkam jurnalisme kritis yang memberitakan revisi UU TNI dan kebijakan pemerintah.
Aku ingat banget ini, Pak Firdian.
Yang mana tuh?
Ini bukannya ada pejabat pemerintah yang bilang udah sih masak aja.
Nah, yang ngajuin mundur tapi nggak jadi itu ya.
Iya benar.
Walaupun sekarang udah jadi komisaris.
Benar.
Gitu.
Iya.
Udah dimasak aja. Kalau kepala babi
udah
dimasak aja.
Ada juga anggapan jadi. April dibuka dengan aksi damai camping bareng warga di depan DPR yang dibubarkan aparat dengan alasan mengganggu estetika kota. Padahal itu bentuk penolakan rakyat terhadap RUU TNI yang dianggap mengembalikan dui fungsi militer. Aktivis bilang yang bikin kota jelek bukan tenda, tapi keputusan DPR yang nggak transparan.
Aduh, dan RUU TNI itu kayak gini Mbak.
Apaan maksudnya?
Bikin berantakan. Kasih gimmick ya Mas ya.
Investigasi The Guardian mengungkap jenazah seorang ABK Indonesia disimpan 6 bulan dalam freezer kapal Cina karena kapten menolak berlabuh demi efisiensi biaya. Jenazah itu diletakkan berdampingan dengan hasil tangkapan ikan. Bayangin sobat lingkungan, manusia dianggap setara sarden.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Kasus ini memperlihatkan brutalnya kerja paksa di kapal long haul yang sering melibatkan ABK Indonesia. Pada hari buruh 1 Mei, Taut melaporkan aparat kembali melakukan kekerasan dan kriminalisasi terhadap massa aksi. Buruh yang menuntut haknya justru dipukul, ditangkap, dan diseret ke mobil, sementara polisi membalikkan narasi seolah mereka yang memicu kerusuhan. Kontras merilis temuan investigasi yang menunjukkan pihak aparat adalah pelaku utama kekerasan. Nah, ini masih nyambung dengan sebelumnya sih. Letjen TNI Jaka Budi Utama, ex anggota tim Mawar yang divonis 16 bulan dalam kasus penculikan aktivis 1998 diangkat jadi Dirjen Bea Cukai. Koalisi masyarakat sipil bilang ini mengangkangi konstitusi karena jabatan sipil strategis semestinya tidak diisi militer aktif, apalagi dengan rekam jejak kelam. Publik makin takut karena pesan yang muncul, impunitas bukan cuma dibiarkan, tapi juga dipromosikan.
Bu Filza kan pengacara, Bu. Saya penasaran sebenarnya. Itu beliau kalau misal lamar kerja ngasih SKCK juga nggak ya? Kan kalau kita kan wajib tuh, masa mereka enggak?
Waduh.
Masa daftar kerja sih?
Nah, ini juga nggak kalah heboh, teman-teman. Opini kritis berjudul Jenderal di Jabatan Sipil di mana merit ASN tiba-tiba dicabut detik.com tanpa penjelasan. Lalu sang penulis mengalami teror, termasuk didorong orang tidak dikenal dari motor. Dewan Pers mengecam keras tindakan ini karena mencederai kebebasan pers dan membuat jurnalis semakin tidak aman. Koalisi menilai ini adalah tanda sensor digital mulai dinormalisasi.
Tapi kenapa ya, Bu? Bukannya ngasih perlindungan ke jurnalis, Dewan Pers malah nyaranin buat ngilangin tulisannya dari website.
Nah, ini dia. Tulisannya apa orangnya sih sebetulnya yang hilang?
Waduh, ngeri.
Lanjut yang gak kalah heboh nih. Tanggal 28 Mei, Presiden Prabowo menyatakan Indonesia dapat mempertimbangkan pengakuan terhadap Israel jika Palestina diakui.
Begitu negara Palestina diakui oleh Israel, Indonesia siap untuk mengakui Israel.
Kontras menyebut ini diplomasi berdarah karena mengabaikan fakta kejahatan kemanusiaan Israel terhadap warga Palestina. Pernyataan ini memicu kritik keras karena dianggap mengkhianati prinsip anti penjajahan UUD 1945.
Oh, jadi kalau di negara sendiri teriak antek-antek asing, tapi di luar ada kucing, Bu, ya itu ya?
Nah, itu dia tuh.
Iya.
Fadlizon bilang kekerasan seksual pada kerusuhan 98 tidak ada bukti dan hanya rumor. Langsung bikin publik marah. LBH Apik dan Kontras mengecam pernyataan itu sebagai reviktimisasi terhadap penyintas, terutama perempuan Tionghoa. Padahal TGPF 98 sudah menemukan banyak bukti dan kesaksian.
Korbannya masih trauma, negara malah nyuruh lupa ya.
Aduh.
Kacau.
Teman-teman, ada juga isu yang lain. Abral Wandikbo ditemukan tewas dengan tangan terikat setelah ditangkap aparat TNI di Yuguru, Enduga. Amnesty dan Kontras menduga kuat ada pelanggaran HAM karena kasusnya serupa dengan pola kekerasan militeristik di Papua yang sudah berlangsung selama bertahun-tahun. Kapus Pen TNI membela anggotanya, tapi publik menuntut penyelidikan secara transparan.
Iya, ini Ctrl C, Ctrl V banget ya.
Iya benar, copy paste.
Betul.
Kegiatan retret di rumah singgah Desa Tangkil, Sukabumi dibubarkan paksa oleh kelompok intoleran dan aparat tidak melindungi jemaat. Kontras bilang ini bukti negara gagal menjamin kebebasan beragama sesuai dengan pasal 29 UUD 45. Impunitas kelompok intoleran seperti ini bikin warga minoritas semakin takut beribadah.
Padahal ibadah kan kita nyari tenang, jadinya tegang kalau begini kan.
Bener banget. Gimana tuh?
Iya. Juli dibuka dengan wacana revisi UU HAM yang katanya memulai dibahas Agustus. Tapi Kontras mengingatkan Menteri HAM Natalius Pigai bahwa revisi tanpa melibatkan korban itu cuma kosmetik demokrasi, gimmick lah. Mereka minta revisi fokus pada masalah struktural kayak penguatan Komnas HAM, biar punya kekuatan hukum, bukan malah ngeblur peran negara. Di Kutai Kartanegara, 19 warga termasuk Pak Puji Friadi mengalami pemukulan brutal oleh diduga anggota Brimob Loa Ipuh Darat. Mereka awalnya datang untuk protes dan cari keadilan, malah jadi korban kekerasan. Kontras menuntut pertanggungjawaban karena pola dipukul dulu, klarifikasi belakangan ini udah terlalu sering.
Iya, padahal katanya Pak Puji itu cuma mau nanya, kenapa sih kok ada balok besar dan papan kayu di tengah jalan? Dia sih katanya khawatir itu akan membahayakan pengendara lainnya.
Oke, betul.
Kalau begitu sih apes bener ya Pak Puji dan kawan-kawan itu. Mereka datang dengan pikiran yang matang, tapi di sana malah dapat bogem mentah.
Emang rumit. Sebelum demo skala nasional terjadi besar-besaran, bulan ini ada unjuk rasa besar-besaran di Pati.
Dan keberlanjutannya, saya akan berbuat yang lebih baik. Terima kasih.
Aksi ini bagian dari gelombang protes rakyat daerah yang merasa suaranya makin dikecilkan oleh pusat. Bupati Pati ngotot naikin pajak bumi bangunan PBB sampai 250%, bahkan menantang rakyatnya sendiri yang nggak setuju. Itu namanya Pati versus Bupati. Pemimpin kok bukannya bela rakyat, malah bela tarif. Setelah unjuk rasa di Pati dan berbagai daerah terjadi, kita menuju puncaknya pada 25 Agustus 2025 ketika demonstrasi nasional besar-besaran digelar yang akhirnya membawa tuntutan 17+8 tuntutan rakyat. Kontras merilis pernyataan bahwa aksi 25 Agustus adalah wujud nyata kekerasan negara. Final boss ini kekerasannya. Karena aparat kembali bertindak represif. Banyak warga luka, banyak suara dibungkam, dan tuntutan yang tidak jawab. 12 orang meninggal gara-gara tes ini.
Oke. Pak Firdian kan sebagai perwakilan Gen Z mungkin bisa cerita kali ya, sebetulnya apa sih yang dirasakan oleh mahasiswa dan pelajar-pelajar? Karena jujur aja banyak yang ditangkap itu lebih banyak dari kalangan pelajar dan mahasiswa gitu ya, dibandingkan sama yang lainnya.
Bener banget. Jadi Mbak, aku tuh ikut aksinya bener-bener di tanggal 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 Agustus kecuali tanggal 30. Karena semua lampu tuh mati di Kuitang dan bahkan itulah penembakan terjadi. Nah, ketika di lapangan aku memang menyaksikan teman-teman pelajar itu, bahkan aku masih ada videonya gitu. Jadi bareng pelajar tuh ngevideoin. Nah, mereka memang datang bukan tanpa alasan yang berat. Mereka cuma ngelihat bahwa ini ibunya mereka di rumah tuh susah beli makan. Tapi mereka ngeliat pejabat tuh kok kaya raya terus itu. Jadi di drive-nya dengan alasan sederhana. Makanya begitu sedih sih ketika dengar sekarang ada 1000-an orang ya yang tersangka. Bahkan terakhir aku sempat datang ke pengadilan negeri di Jakarta Utara. Nah, itu banyak pelajar yang masih harus di pengadilan nggak punya lawyer bahkan. Nah, itu ibu-ibunya datang naik bus dan nangis semua gitu karena ini anak saya nggak salah apa-apa. Ya gitulah. Jadi termasuk aktivis Del Pedro Marhen yang ditangkap pada September dan memicu kekhawatiran soal kriminalisasi terhadap pembela HAM. Penangkapannya menambah daftar panjang orang-orang kritis yang diproses tanpa transparansi penuh. Publik makin khawatir karena tren kritik sama dengan ditangkap mulai kok kayak normal gitu.
Iya. Kalau kritik aja bisa ditangkap, lain kali kalau misalnya gue bikin meme bisa ditangkap kan?
Waduh, iya.
Kalau misalnya ngeluh harga kopi bisa ditangkap juga.
Padahal ya kita sebenarnya nggak ada yang mau makar ya. Kita makan gitu.
Bener banget.
Nggak ada niat makan lapar kita.
Oktober dimulai dengan kabar sedih dari Halmahera. 11 warga adat Mabasangaji divonis 5 bulan 8 hari karena mempertahankan tanah mereka dari tambang nikel. Hakim bahkan bilang mereka bukan pejuang lingkungan, padahal mereka cuma lindungi ruang hidup sendiri. Kontras menilai putusan ini bentuk kriminalisasi masyarakat adat demi industri ekstraktif. Awal November, Presiden Prabowo resmi menetapkan Soeharto sebagai pahlawan nasional. Dan
patah hati nasional.
Publik langsung gaduh lah. Korban dan keluarga pelanggaran HAM masa Orde Baru protes keras karena banyak kasus gelap yang belum terselesaikan. Banyak yang bilang ini adalah bentuk pemutihan sejarah sambil menutup luka kolektif bangsa.
Berarti ini di film Avenger juga Thanos harus jadi pahlawan nih, udah bukan penjahat lagi tandanya.
Iya.
Kebalik dunia ini emang.
Masih bulan yang sama, DPR mengesahkan RUU KUHP yang menuai kritik dari akademisi dan masyarakat sipil. Banyak pasal dianggap tidak melindungi tersangka maupun korban. Tapi bisa banget dipakai buat mengkriminalisasi aktivis dan jurnalis. Prosesnya juga cepat dan minim partisipasi publik. Bikin publik makin was-was.
Bahkan banyak klaim-klaim sepihak ya. Ada Del Pedro yang diklaim padahal Del Pedro lagi di penjara sama mereka-mereka.
Makanya.
Tapi diklaim dalam partisipasi.
Asal banget tuh klaim. Anggota DPR akhirnya mendesak Komnas HAM dan Polri mengusut dugaan perdagangan orang terhadap ABK Indonesia di kapal asing KM Mus dan Runzeng 03. Banyak ABK diduga mengalami penyiksaan, kerja paksa sampai tidak diberi upah yang layak. Desakan ini muncul setelah keluarga korban ramai melapor dan meminta pertanggungjawaban negara. Menjelang akhir November, 2 kerangka di Kuitang akhirnya teridentifikasi sebagai Reno dan Farhan. Identifikasi ini adalah langkah awal penting untuk mencari penyebab kematian dan pihak yang bertanggung jawab. Publik berharap penyelidikannya berjalan transparan dan tanpa drama hilang bukti, seperti kasus-kasus yang sebelumnya.
Ya, jangan sampai cuma jadi headline sebentar lalu hilang begitu saja ya.
Iya. Desember dibuka dengan bencana ekologis di Sumatera yang melanda Aceh, Sumatera Utara, dan Sumatera Barat. Total korban meninggal mencapai 836 orang dan 509 orang hilang. Korban luka sekitar 2.600 orang dan lebih dari 1,5 juta orang mengungsi. Ini adalah data per 4 Desember 2025 pukul 10 pagi ini. Akan tetapi pemerintah daerah hingga pusat gagap menangani bencana ini. Bahkan pemerintahan Prabowo Gibran pun belum menetapkan ini sebagai darurat bencana nasional. Nyawa manusia hanya dianggap sebagai statistik, padahal 1 nyawa saja sudah menjadi tragedi.
Dan kita melihat pejabat kita itu malah nilai empati ya.
Bener banget.
Kayak misalnya kepala BNPB mengatakan, ini mah nggak mencekam, cuman di medsos.
Bener.
Pas datang dia bilang, ya saya salah mencekam, ternyata
Nangis-nangis.
Iya, apalagi kira-kira statement aneh-aneh.
Statement aneh, mungkin bukan statement ya, tapi lebih kepada gimmick. Farel Bramasta datang menggunakan katanya itu bukan vest militer, itu tactical vest. Tapi kok sempet ya ngejahit nama Farel.
Ada emailnya.
Iya makanya, bukannya orang tuh kalau siap-siap bawa beras, bawa apa? Dia ngomong apa penjahitnya? Pak, tolong jangan lupa ya, ini Farel.
Iya.
R-nya 2.
Benar ya.
Coba apalagi statement-statement aneh.
Ini masih di partai yang sama nih ya. Jadi ada anaknya Zulhas, si Tanjani datang tuh ke lokasi. Terus dia dengan polos nanya, ini sungai ada kayunya itu, nggak mungkin ini alami. Ya kan bapak ente yang nebang ya. Kenapa dia nanya? Kurang akrab mungkin sama bapaknya, nggak bisa nge-WA gitu ya.
Yang dimarahin Harrison Ford bukannya bapak lu.
Itu dia.
Iya makanya.
Ada Bahlil.
Oh iya.
Nah ini dia. Jadi dia lagi klarifikasi soal bensin nih. Ada kok, ada nyeletuk. Enggak ada kosong gitu.
Dan itu pas lagi di ini ya?
Lagi diwawancara. Emang kebanyakan bohong jadi lupa tempat dia. Tapi Starlink udah dengar soal Starlink?
Belum, gimana tuh?
Kalau Starlink itu, jadi Elon Musk udah bilang gratis di Indonesia. Tak tahu dipungliin katanya sih sama salah satu institusi aparat gitu, penegak hukum ya.
Waduh.
Oknum ya.
Kok bisa-bisanya di tengah bencana banjir, orang lagi ribut ngirimin bantuan, dia sempat-sempatnya ngasih pungli.
20.000 per jam atau per apa itu Starlinknya? Iya, jadi Elon Musk bener. Pantes Elon Musk gak bikin pabrik di sini kan? Ada juga yang kocak dari Menteri Pemuda Olahraga yang gak muda-muda amat, Erick Thohir, yang dia bilang mau ngasih bantuan alat-alat olahraga ke bencana.
Siapa yang make kata gue?
Jujur, ini orang lapar bukan pengen pedal ya. Makanya. Dan ini juga unik, mungkin terakhir gitu ya, karena saking banyaknya. Mentan ikut-ikutan membuka donasi, nggak mau kalah sama Ferry Irwandi, sama siapa. Jadi kan sekarang ada tagar-tagar tuh, konten kreator 1, pemerintah 0 gitu. Kata Mentannya nggak mau ikutan kalah gitu. Ya dan mungkin kita pun masih melihat hari ini Presiden Prabowo bilang keadaan sudah baik-baik saja katanya. Padahal kita masih tahu bahwa data-data tadi terus bertambah tiap harinya.
Iya, kita nggak tahu lagi ke depan statement-statement aneh dan unik dan apa lagi yang mungkin akan keluar ya.
Yes, betul.
Sobat lingkungan, HAM di Indonesia memang mengalami stagnansi atau bahkan kemunduran. Greenpeace merangkum isu-isu HAM ini supaya membantu pemahaman masyarakat Indonesia.
Tapi tetap dong, Bu Filza, kita harus membangun optimisme masyarakat. Masyarakat nggak boleh diam, kita harus saling bantu edukasi isu yang kompleks kayak gini.
Nah, makanya Mas Firdian, pantengin aja konten-konten Greenpeace Indonesia biar makin paham isu-isu HAM yang seperti ini.
Yes, ini juga jawaban juga nih buat yang sering nyinyir. Kenapa sih aktivis lingkungan kok bahas isu politik, isu HAM? Ya sederhana, karena keputusan politik menentukan segala sesuatu yang terjadi di hidup kita. Makanya perlu lawan kita politik.
Bener banget. Oke, Sobat Lingkungan, sampai ketemu di konten-konten Greenpeace selanjutnya. Dan selamat mencintai Ibu Bumi.
Pick up some Kamigawa cards, old and new, for your commander decks and your collection. This episode is also sponsored by my new partner, Coalesce Apparel and Design. Use code STUDIES at checkout for 10% off clothing and stickers, including Ristic Studies t-shirts and hoodies that feature my brand new logo. Just south of the archipelago of Japan, on the island of Yakushima, an early morning bus ride delivers small groups of ambitious hikers to the mouth of the Anbo trailhead. From here, following an old logging train track, hikers begin their journey into the forest. Soon the terrain shifts as the flat tracks become wooden ladders and narrow steps. The Okabu Trail is much more challenging, but keeping the hikers company is a primordial blanket of ancient trees. A sense of calm permeates the overgrowth as time slows down. The forest is quiet. Only here does Shinrin-yoku reach its full effect. Then, after hours of climbing the wooden steps that lead to the summit of Yakushima Island, they see it. Jomon-sugi, one of the oldest trees in the world. Any lingering discomfort from the grueling hike disappears in the presence of the tree. Its age transcends written human history, and still it continues to grow. Back on the mainland, near the hot springs of Kaga in the Ishikawa prefecture, there grows another ancient cedar. Standing 180 feet tall, the Great Sugi of Kayano welcomes visitors to the Sugawara shrine behind it. This tree is deemed sacred. Wrapping around its massive trunk is a Shimenawa rope, which denotes the presence of a Kodama, the spirit that inhabits trees. Deep within the Jukai forest grows a third cedar tree which shares an affinity with these two Sugi. Also wrapped in Shimenawa rope and towering above the forest, this tree possesses a Kodama of her own. But in order to witness Boseiju, the sacred mother, we must cross the liminal boundary between reality and fantasy. The bridge between these two worlds, however, is short, if but a few steps. On the other side is the vibrant storybook world of Kamigawa, a living facsimile of the history of the country that inspired it, a world whose myths and locales and peoples are mirrors of our own. At the onset of building the world of Kamigawa back in the very early 2000s, the top-down planes of Innistrad, Theros, Amonkhet, and Kaldheim did not yet exist. Beyond Arabian Nights, there was no blueprint of how to translate living lore into the game world. The previous setting of Mirrodin was closer in concept to science fiction than it was to high fantasy, and Bill Rose, the president of R&D at the time, insisted that the creative team use mythology as their primary source material to develop the following block. After attending a distributors meeting in Tokyo, he returned to Northwest Washington adamant that Magic's next setting would invoke the trappings and imagery of feudal Japan. Brady Dommermuth, the creative director, was not convinced, and quickly identified 4 areas of difficulty with this pursuit. 1. What would be considered mythology in the ancient Greek or Norse culture is current religious practice in Japanese culture. 2. Many Westerners just don't know much about ancient or feudal Japan beyond samurai and ninja. 3. Many Westerners confuse Chinese or Korean cultural elements with Japanese, or worse, they don't think the differences are significant. And 4. Most Westerners simply aren't familiar with the creatures and magic of Japanese lore. Dommermuth's predictions about his audience were correct. Nearly 2 decades have passed since the publication of this article, and yet most of these worries still ring true. Combined with a slew of mechanical issues and lackluster game design, Kamigawa was a terrific failure as a commercial product. It sold poorly, and players struggled with exactly what the creative team anticipated above. But despite its troubled past, the richness and depth of this world still offers exploration and intrigue. In many ways, Kamigawa was far ahead of its time, and only through retrospect can we understand and respect all the efforts that led to its creation. We can start with the symbol of Champions of Kamigawa, the first set in the block. This is a torii gate. The torii gate is perhaps the most instantly recognizable and iconographic image associated with Japan, well, beyond pop culture exports like Hello Kitty and that cheerful electric mouse. The structure is prolific in the country, and each one marks the entrance to a Shinto shrine, called a jinja. Before entering a jinja, one must purify themselves with water at basins located just outside the shrine, and once within, they can pay their respects to the kami, the spirits that live in everything. As with all sacred spaces, ritual and etiquette is involved in every step of worship. But Shinto is not a religion, it is a practice, a tradition, a way of behaving more than a way of believing. Shinto is at the core of Kamigawa's storytelling. Unlike other religions that have been codified into the game world, like the Church of Abysin for example, Kamigawa was explicit about its ties to a real-world theological counterpart. As will become apparent, the separation between reality and fantasy was tenuous in this block, and future top-down worlds would learn from the risks associated with staying too close to the source material in the final product. Because of this, we can treat Kamigawa as a sort of museum, a viewing gallery to learn about Japan, where nearly every card has an analog in the real world. Take, for example, Ebony Owl Netsuke. Tournament players will recognize it as a key piece to the popular Owling Mine combo deck from this era. Netsuke, however, are not a fantasy invention. They were tiny sculptures that adorns the kimono of merchants throughout the 17th century. Acting as a counterbalance to small crafted boxes called inro that carried accoutrement like tobacco or medicine, Netsuke were highly detailed trinkets that attached to the top of the sash called an obi. Typically carved in ivory or cypress wood, these ornaments signaled wealth for a social class that was otherwise not allowed to flaunt their economic success. Ornate kansashi also points to another traditional Japanese craft. Dating back to as early as the Jomon period, kansashi have fluctuated in popularity, utility, and appearance for centuries. In the modern era, brides, maiko, and even young girls wear kansashi in their hair for wedding ceremonies or coming-of-age celebrations. In 1982, Tsumami kansashi, which feature intricate flower designs made of pinched and folded cloth, were officially designated as traditional handcraft in Tokyo. Alongside Netsuke and kansashi, Kamigawa also showcases traditional Japanese weapons, instruments, and items used in Shinto rituals. The jite, or jute for example, flourished in the Edo period within members of the military and police. To bring a sword into the shogun's palace was a crime punishable by death, so alternative weapons like the jite became standard issue for the guard. Umezawa's here seems to be made of iron, but some jite were made of wood. In either case, the weapon was a blunt object, not sharp like a sai might be. The hook there, called a kagi, was used to snag at clothing, push into weak joints, or even grab at a victim's open mouth or nose. The koto is an instrument whose 13 strings sound instantly recognizable. As seen in this video by Rob Scallon featuring Tokiko Kimura, real koto are much bigger than that depicted in the card illustration, and they lay flat along a surface, not held like a guitar. While one hand plucks the strings behind the movable ivory bridges, the other bends them to create slight shifts and accents in pitch. Here's a woodblock print by Katsushika Hokusai from circa 1800, which depicts a woman carrying what would later become recognized as the national instrument of Japan. Even cards as innocuous as long-forgotten gohei provide insight into Japanese history and tradition. Used by priests to cleanse a sacred place or bless objects carrying negative energy, gohei are wooden wands decorated with 2 zigzagging shide, streamers made of paper. This card also hints at the central point of tension of the Kamigawa story. Between the name and flavor text, we get the impression that that which was holy has turned against those who once revered it. This was the narrative crux of the block. Pitched as Shinto gone wrong, Kamigawa's primary conflict was a clash between the mortal world, called Utsushio, and the spirit realm, called Kakurio. Driving the narrative was Kanda, Lord of Eiganjo, who stole the essence of the supreme kami deity called Okagachi in search of immortality, thus initiating the 20 years kami war. As spirits tore through the veil and invaded Kamigawa, the citizens of the plane faced not just their mortality, but the total dissolution of a sanctified world. The psychological trauma of the war permeates the entirety of the block, from the grandiose events to the mundane normalities of daily life.
Once we prayed to the Kaijin for safe voyage. Now we only pray that we can escape their gaze. Hayato, Master Sailor.
It seemed an easy thing to step into the nothingness, to fall, to die. But then for an instant I saw it. eyes filled with endless sorrow, and I turned back to face my pain. Snow Fur, Kitsune Poet.
As I died, I rejoiced. I would see my family again. But then I woke up, back on the battlefield, back in Kamigawa, back in hell.
That third piece on Yomiji Who Bars the Way was written by my esteemed guest for this episode, Rei Nakazawa.
My name is Rei Nakazawa. I've been writing for and about games for half my life now, but over half my life now, but it all started with Magic.
I called Rei for insight into writing flavor text for Kamigawa. So much of world building lives in snippets of italicized text, and I was curious about the stories that he and his colleagues sought to tell in the margins of these cards.
I saw them once when I was a child. They led me to my parents' arms when I was lost. Why have they abandoned me now? Why won't they take me home again? Unnamed beggar.
One piece of flavor text that comes up quite a bit that I didn't write. I think J. Moldenhauer Salazar did write it, was Wandering Ones. And I think that sort of captures the immediate mood very well. This idea that things are going wrong, that there was a time where things were better and now they're getting worse for reasons that the average person doesn't understand yet. The idea just to give a sense, of just how serious this is, that, these are mortals fighting against their own gods and how big a deal that is.
The motif of common folk facing a tradition that has betrayed them also appears in this suite of flavor text penned by Nakazawa. The Orochi are one of 5 humanoid creatures of Kamigawa. They populate the Jukai forest, and, like the other tribes, they must reconcile with the inversion of their truths.
The young come to me confused. They've been taught to respect the kami, and now they must fight them? I do not know what to say. Sachi, to her father.
Nothing is the same anymore. The forests are not as lush, the water not as pure, the air not as clear. Without the kami to direct and sustain the forces of nature, it's only a matter of time before we feel their neglect.
Gale Force and Stone Rain are also Nakazawa at work. Here, the kami weaponize their control over weather events in order to destroy the world. The balance of power has shifted entirely, leaving the citizens of Kamigawa helpless against an omnipotent foe.
I followed a few keywords here, one being desperate. I really wanted to get across that sense of danger being everywhere, of how serious the situation was. But I'd say some of that whimsical mood does creep in. In the end, things do work out. Kamigawa does survive in some form, so there is a little bit of room to ease off on the despair and the hopelessness that some of the flavor texts express, because we, at least the reader, do know it eventually does get better somehow. Which I think is important, because I don't think this is a set that would have benefited from sort of a relentless mood of doom that, some other settings have played with.
Along with maintaining a contrast between despair and whimsy, Nakazawa used flavor text as an opportunity to turn game mechanics into narratives. What happens to the Orochi when they die? Sakura Tribe Elder answers this question with a lovely image of death sprouting new life. There were no tombstones in Orochi territory. Slain warriors were buried with a tree sapling, so they would become a part of the forest after death.
Sakura Tribe Elder doesn't come up so much as flavor text, but that's another example of, like I said, of filling in gaps, details of the world that were too fine to, even put in the style guide.
Another beautiful detail that may go overlooked are the writings of Noboru, a master kite maker who Nakazawa wrote into existence on 3 cards. His dedication to his craft is emblematic of many Japanese who carry on traditions that defy advancements in digital and industrial technologies. The kansashi I mentioned earlier are just one of so many art forms that take decades to master. Woodblock printmaking comes to mind too, as well as the slow, methodical arts of kumiko, which assembles tiny slates of wood into dazzling wall murals without the use of nails or adhesives. As we slowly lose touch with the magic of making something with our hands, from materials that grow in the dirt, the kite maker reminds us.
The jeweler, the potter, the smith,
They all imbue a bit of their souls into their creations. The kami destroy that crafted mortal shell and absorb the soul within. Noboru, Master Kite Maker.
The concept of Shinto gone wrong comes through in the second line here and points to what I believe was Kamigawa's greatest world-building error. All stories must present conflict, but the premise of kami attacking the mortal realm simply doesn't make sense in the context of Shinto values. Because Shinto considers human beings as fundamentally pure, and because there are no strict moral or ethical codes to follow if you wish to practice, there is also no sense of punishment for disregarding Shinto traditions. Participating in rites of passage, visiting shrines, and placing emphasis on life more than the afterlife all coalesce into a form of collective respect for the health of the world. In many ways, Shinto is a fundamentally environmentalist form of animism. But the idea of kami turning against the living is too far-fetched, even when gamified, and it mischaracterizes Shinto as a vengeful ideology. Similarly, the design of the kami is misrepresentative of the spirits that inhabit all things in Shinto. It is clear that they were intentionally concepted to appear otherworldly. Many of the spirits are adorned with floating appendages and impossible body shapes. Admittedly, the challenge of painting the immaterial and invisible is difficult, but these kami come through the breach looking more like creatures of a drug-induced psychedelic dream world. In a different high fantasy setting, on another of Magic's infinite planes, these designs would be excellent. But because Kamigawa stayed so close to Shinto at its foundation, it wrote itself directly into a corner at the level of appropriate representation. In other words, yeah, these kami look really cool, but I don't think they should have been kami in the first place. Returning to Dharmamith's list of worries, it is true that most Westerners simply aren't familiar with the creatures and magic of Japanese lore, let alone the spiritual practices that have traditions spanning generations. And so presenting kami as threatening monsters did no service to players who otherwise did not know any better. Had Kamigawa's original name Inreikai been used, which translates roughly to the dark spiritual world, this premise would have been forever ingrained into the plane's identity. Instead, the creative team went with the backup name, which was easier to pronounce. Kamigawa, the River of the Gods, stayed very close to Japan for its inspiration, and aside from this twist on Shinto, it was also built with a lot of care.
This was a relatively early attempt to connect a magic world with an average culture. So there was a certain feeling of responsibility, especially for someone like me whose father is actually from that country, to, I guess, reflect well on its basis. Like I said, I wanted to do justice to the existing tradition, even though obviously they weren't exactly the same.
In fact, there was originally a desire to lean even further into Japanese terminology for card names. The idea was to have a simple card name, something innocuous like Fearsome Ogre, carry an anglicized Japanese name underneath it in a subtitle text box. This may have helped mitigate the culture gap and give tournament players an easier handle on pronunciation and decklist transcription. The cycle of legendary dragons, too, were originally slated to have longer names to instill them with a sense of grandiosity. The Red Dragon's full name was originally Ryusei the Falling Star, Lord of the Sokenzen Heights. Such a text box treatment wouldn't take shape until 15 years later in the Ikoria expansion, and I think there's a lot of potential to make use of this tech in future Magic sets. In taking Dharmamith's worries as a challenge to myself to learn more about Japan, I'd like to look at a few more cards that connect the game world to legitimate Japanese history and culture. The first is here on Kumano, Master Yamabushi. The illustration by Adam Rex depicts a katana-wielding shaman braving the snow deep in the Sokenzen Mountains. The design comes from the Yamabushi of the same name, ascetic monks who take punishing voyages into the mountains in search of metaphorical death. After hiking up rocky trails in thin sandals and crushing themselves under waterfalls, they return from the mountain to leap over an open flame, which is symbolic of their rebirth. Notice the conch shell hanging from Kumano. That is called a horagai, which the Yamabushi use as a trumpet to communicate with one another across the mountains. The kitsune are another creature with origins in Japanese folklore. Thought to be benevolent messengers of the gods, these fox spirits can possess up to 9 tails, each one marking 100 years of life and symbolizing their supreme intelligence and wisdom. Many of us grew up admiring a couple of kitsune in Pokemon. In Magic, the kitsune are clerics and samurai in white, whose flavor text characterizes them as knowledgeable and compassionate and poetic. The most notable, 8.5 Tails, is among my favorite cards from all of Kamigawa. Rei Nakazawa's short story of the same name details the tragic error that befell this kitsune, which unintentionally helped Kanda initiate the Kami War. As an offering of penance, the fox cut off half of his 9th tail, deeming himself unworthy of the honor it represented. Contrasting the kitsune's benevolence are the Zubera, faceless humans who have been pulled into the Kami world with nightmarish results. Known as Noperabo, the most well-known of these ghost stories, titled Mujina, features a woman hunched over and crying, stranded on the roadside, who when offered assistance turns to reveal her completely smooth and featureless face. Miyazaki has used Noperabo in Pampoko, and more famously in Spirited Away, to great storytelling effect. The Zubera, endemic to Kamigawa, are equally mysterious and unnerving, and mechanically benefit from death. Adjacent to the terrifying Noperabo are the Goryo and the Onryo, the vengeful spirits of Japanese mythology. The most famous example in popular culture is perhaps Koji Suzuki's Ringyu, whose imagery has haunted me for decades. Kamigawa has a pair of cards inspired by this concept. The flavor text of Footsteps of the Goryo details how angry spirits are born from violent deaths, and Goryo's vengeance turns that narrative into a game mechanic. The latter card has provided countless stories and gameplay loops all its own, bringing back the dead for ruthless and game-ending attacks. And still the references continue. The more I browsed the card image gallery, the more tangents opened up, the deeper the roots became. Everything has origins somewhere, elsewhere. For instance, the Soratami, like the Zubera, derive from one story called The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, in which an old harvester finds a princess nestled within the stalk of a severed bamboo. We learn that she comes from the moon, and after attracting the attention of the emperor, she returns home, leaving him in great sadness. The moonfolk of Kamigawa live in the clouds. Their character design evokes hair-like features, long white faces, and dangling ribbons that resemble ears, harken back to the idea that in the craters of the moon, the Japanese see not a face of a man, but the shape of a rabbit. And still, the references continue.
Kamigawa was, in a sense, a storybook world before Lorwyn was. It takes place pretty far in the past. I think that's a reason why Kamigawa stuck with me. Something about it being in the far past and it being based on a more traditional portrayal of a past setting gave it that storytelling atmosphere very strongly. And I think that's why it sort of resonated with me. So I guess I describe the world as a glimpse of the past that we as the writers, the group of us, we're trying to bring forward.
Kamigawa is old. In the literal sense, the plane has endured thousands of years, spanning deep into the past and very soon projecting far into the future. The Kami War delivered existential trauma to the living, who suffered not just their own deaths, but a schism with their faith. On the macro and in the micro, we feel the ripple effects of this crisis, from brief lines of flavor text to resounding card names and extravagant illustrations. There is a sense of scale in Kamigawa that reflects the creative team's gigantic ambition against the task presented to them. Every card offers a story, a trail that leads back to its source material, a path welcome to any who wish to follow it. At the same time, the request to build a world based on a country with centuries of art and culture and history was perhaps asking a bit too much from the medium in which it lived. Repurposing that country's spiritual practices was also, in my eyes, an unnecessary overstep. But Kamigawa endures. It has been nearly 20 years since its creation, and in that time many players have grown older and moved away from the game. Style guides have changed, and methodologies on world building have learned from the mistakes made in Magic's first major top-down world. The birth of the game's most popular format, too, is likely indebted to these 621 cards, without which I can't imagine Elder Dragon Highlander existing, at least in its current form. Soon we will return to the Jukai Forest. Growing there, slowly, will be the Sacred Mother. She will be wrapped in Shimenawa rope and stand towering above a metropolis of glowing lights, defiantly resisting the fallacy of progress and embodying the passage of time. She looks like her relatives, the great cedar trees of Japan, who, like its people, endure. The world is old. It rewards those who take time to grow. This episode was sponsored by Card Kingdom and Coalesce. Follow the links below to pick up magic cards and merchandise. Everything you purchase directly supports the show. I'd like to extend a very special thank you to Rei Nakazawa for his time and insights. On his website, you can find all of the cards for which he wrote flavor text, both within Kamigawa and the sets surrounding it. He wanted me to tell you that he apologizes it hasn't been updated for decades, but I think that gives it all the more charm. Thank you, Ray. I've been honored to celebrate your work here. Finally, as the Patreon credits roll, I'd like to thank all my friends for breathing life into the flavor text I picked for this episode. I'll leave you with a few more, including another of my favorites from Nakazawa's portfolio, Unearthly Blizzard. Thanks so much for watching.
We are trapped. The mountains and blinding kami storms have made us hopelessly lost. We are starving. In the name of all things sacred, please send help. Lost Battalion, final message to General Takeno.
How can we hope to match the speed of lightning, the fury of storms, the power of mountains? The answer is simple. We cannot. I advise against this war. Sensei Hisoka, letter to Lord Konda.
These Nezumi, they
Kalau misalkan nggak ngelawan ininya nggak apa-apa kan ya? Nggak apa-apa lah. Kayaknya sih nggak apa-apa. Nah yang penting bos-bosannya ini. Wah anjing. Woi. Tetap kena ya kalau di situ ya. Oh, oke. Yeah. Ini checkpoint nih harusnya nih. Nah, aman. Oke. Aduh. Yelah. Oh, itu ada apa tuh di situ tuh? Itu apa ya? Guys. Aduh. Oh, itu. Gak kena lagi. Tetep aja kena duri, anjing. Bisa nggak usah pakai duri nggak sih ini? Nah. Aduh.
mostly light and dark is used as a standalone, and I mean not with the er suffix, just light and dark. So maybe that's also why. Ohayo, hajimari, hajimari. Hi Octavius, welcome to the stream. Oh, by the way, I have finished. I remember that you are one of the participants from that 200 follower celebration, and I have finished all the sketches. So if you haven't downloaded your sketch, and if you want to, you can just go to the link on the pin up there to grab your sketch. Oh, thank you so much for that, Petner. Jawa. したことドラマチックな出来事など望んでないけれど空の谷にほっと輝かな毎日を最後の眠りにつく日までおやすみ寝れたし寝れたしタララララタタタタラタタタラララララララ Oh my god, it looks dark. Looks dark. Oh. Thanks for the info. No problem, no problem. I hope you like it. The sketches. And I'm sorry if I missed something. Or if it's not as good as you might expect. Where? Ah, there it is. I don't know why. I just like to add this kind of touches for characters that have dark hair. I think a lot of professional artists. I don't know what technique that's called, but I myself call it sweetener colors. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's actually called. Oh wait. Aha. Wait, what part is that? Wait, how did... Ah, there it is. Layer 62! 2! Where is that? Is it... Oh, no, it's not. It's not the line art. Is it this one? No? Ah, here it is. There. Okay. Where was I again? Oh yeah, the hair. Oh wait, I just realized the teeth. Where's the teeth? Why did I... Oh, not teeth. Sorry, fangs. Fangs. Why did I not draw the fangs? Oh, stupid. Where should I draw it? Where should I... Yeah. Is this the English or the Spanish? Okay, English. We cannot do a single favor of slightly farther. I clicked download but nothing happened. Really? Are you sure? I mean, I already put it on the thing, and the people said that there is no problem with it. So I think it should work. Have you checked your download folder yet? English or Spanish? Yeah, this song that's currently playing, it's originally a Spanish song in Spanish, but there is also an English version. By official version. Hello, Lemon Camper. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Just to give you a taste of the Spanish version, I will add it to the QU, so it will play after this. The reason that you will find stayed in places that you used to be, that I do now. Wait. It's four teeth. Wait, no, this actually makes sense. From the side, it would only look only 4, but from the front, it is technically 5. 4, half and a half, so it's 5. Ada Sensen juga di sini, jadi lapar, pengen kelempar. Kalau gue sih prefernya lontong sih. More life. Maybe next time I should make what's it? I should make in the shape in the base with serrated teeth like this. Udah pesen warteg sih buat makan malam. Nice. Oh my god, it's really serrated. Maybe it's, yeah, I think it should go to the bottom a bit more. Say that I think that I will give up. Wait, can I actually move this? I can! Of course I can! And of course I know that. Why would I did not know that? Okay, that's too thick. That's too thick. Okay, now this is the Spanish version. Finally able to download the thing, yay. Oh, okay, nice. Nice, that's good to hear. Again, thank you so much for submitting your character, and again, I hope you like it. And I'm sorry if there's anything missing or it's not as good as your expectation. May I use it for thumbnail? Sure thing. It's basically yours already. De abandóname como me veo Oh wait, no, that looks weird. Porque sabes que sé cuando que te amo, a que decirlo, veo que aquí me rindo. Yeah, I think this is fine. Oops. Hay veces somos Celia Senta.
Good morning, Octavius. Yeah, my breakfast. How are you today? I mean, yeah, I guess sausages just work. Other work.
It's 10:05.
Sorry, alarm. My fault. Oh, what type of snacks? Tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. that was better. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think now it's better.